Okay, everybody welcome. I'm gonna go ahead and get us started with some dance hall. You know I always start with Vegas. And after you rock out to this good fat, no, what they don't say fat, what they say, the big tune, then we'll be right back to you. My mic is hot. My mic is hot. A lot of you bitches not.
But then I just decided for compliance. Let me just
no, you're right. You're absolutely
a lot of you
right.
hoes is not hot, but a lot of you hoes is, and I see y'all. Call me. This is the Black Source
we all
podcast.
have to have it because he won't let us.
And welcome. Let me make sure. Are we coming from the Black Source page or my page? Okay, so guys, I'm gonna go ahead. Let me share it to my page. So everybody watching should be either on the Black Source page or on Monique Black's page. And we're gonna try to get this so that we all, get this shit together. Nah.
This is what you delivered?
That's what we're gonna try to do. So hold on.
You ain't like the presentation.
Okay,
really?
I shared it
to
my page, and we should all be on the same page now. Welcome, Black people. I got so much to talk about today. I'm so hyped about everything. I'm so hyped about everything. The first thing I want to talk about is I want to let you know that.
But I wish it was hot.
We do have a special panel tonight. We have Shanoa Robert will be here. got a player literally from the Himalayas.
Yeah, we got a lot of male
Right?
energy
You
up in the piece
genuinely
tonight.
Was in the Himalayan mountains or something.
He really was.
In Nepal, yeah. I was at base camp. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to be talking to Jonathan about a lot of things, but also about his quests, journeys, adventures. And we also have Josh today, who is in the real estate business. So, you know, he's a man after my own heart.
Right, because y'all in the same business.
In the same business. So we're going to talk. But before we even open up the panel, because right now, Jonathan is enjoying his birthday dinner. It's so good. Hey, yo, I just had some food that was, listen to me, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about food every single week, but I am going to let you know that Shanoa can cook. And that's,
I'll be
that's all
trying.
you
I'll be
need to know.
trying.
So, the grits, though, was like something from, okay, so I went to New Orleans. I like to say old New Orleans. They hate when I say it like that. But I went to New Orleans and had some grits and shrimp, and it changed my life pretty much.
Really?
To be honest.
You said it backwards.
Oh, shrimp and grits.
Yeah, I made that. I made shrimp and grits, and I made it for her.
can't
I
get
brought it for
nothing
her
right. I say Caribbean,
earlier.
they say it's Caribbean. I say shrimp and grits. They say it's
Yeah.
grits. And then Erica, though, a friend of mine, said roti instead of roti.
Roti.
So-
No, baby, it's roti. I
I
can guarantee you it's roti. I can guarantee you that it's roti.
So this is what's going on. So in the I wanted to go over something real quick before we get into opening up the panel. Something personal I want to discuss.
Okay.
Not personal, but personal. So as far as I wanted to do something called the State of the Black Woman Address.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to save that topic for next time because obviously we have so much to go over today. We have a lot to do today. So I want to save that topic for next time, but I want to briefly go over why I wanted to do it. What's going on with my mic, man?
You gotta. It's
all right.
it's
Flaccid?
lacking. It's flaccid. Yeah.
You told me. So what I gotta
You gotta keep rubbing it until it stiffens up and
Right.
straightens up. Put it in there. Right. You gotta put your mouth on it too, because that's not enough.
Right
Throw some
on.
Cialis on it. Too.
Right on. So, what I wanted to discuss about that is when we get the chance, we're going to go over the state of the black woman in America. And what I mean by that is, where do we see ourselves? Where do we see our station? How do we view ourselves right now? Because recently we've had this and not recently, it's been going on for years, but I think it's really come to an apex lately.
Yeah.
This big movement and revolution of self-empowerment and black women looking out for black women, and like we really started to really do that shit on every level, from culture to entertainment to politics,
Right.
and a lot in activism,
Right.
And so that's something I want to know, like, where do we think we stand in that situation? Because I'm going to tell you where I think we stand. I think even though we're still the most oppressed group on the fucking planet from day one, I also think that we are the most empowered group at the same time. That, like, the gains that we've made for ourselves should have been impossible when you think about what people have tried to do to put obstacles in our way, and somehow we will just busting through them shits. And so I think that at some point we come to a crossroads where we have to understand that although we're a victim of a lot of bullshit, we're not victims.
Right.
And should not be victim identified. And a lot of people are, and that's a cozy place to be. And you might want to start looking at ways how to escape that mindset of like victimhood, and like just like have the courage to know that you really are empowered and you can beat your enemies down. You can. In some places we cannot. We're gonna still be victimized, right?
Right.
There are certain places that there are policies and laws written to keep you in a fucked up situation. But at the same time, there's areas where you definitely can, sis, get up and shake it off. There are situations where niggas are still treating you like they got some kind of a power over you, and they don't have anything at all.
Yeah.
But your mindset to keep them in any kind of power. So that's something that I would like to go over, and I would like to have a show about actually providing the listeners with stats and data about, you know, where we are in education and how much education black women have over other groups.
True.
Where we are in you know, the business world,
Yeah.
and how many business owners we have, and that sort of thing, and all that sort of thing. Now you know I don't be on camera like that. What you doing? What's this
Well, you're on
stuff?
camera on the other joint.
But that's fine. I don't like being on personal cameras. Like,
Personal
why
camera.
you putting me? Why you put
Because
me? out
I'm
there?
on live on my page too.
Okay, but listen. So y'all understand what I'm saying about the black woman? We're gonna go back to
Yes.
that another time. But this week we got other things to discuss because
Yes.
I really want to discuss. Black business.
Yes.
I want to discuss what are our options. How much things are going on that we did not know about. And one day, I want to start by saying, one day we had an argument in here about financial education.
Oh, I don't even want to bring that up because
Yeah,
they
but
tried to
we're-
really like come for me.
I came for you that
They really,
time.
really did for foolishness. Like
For foolishness.
for
That's
foolishness.
true. However, after talking to Jonathan about that topic, he
So now
brought
you
up
had to
one
talk to
thing-
Jonathan to understand that like my
Sometimes
I
it
was
be that
fucking
way.
right.
Sometimes-
Like I was right. Okay,
Sometimes-
cool.
So when did this
That's
conversation-
nice.
I gotta take
we,
cancel.
we have different conversations.
Well, this was while you were gone. Me and
Okay.
her had this conversation on the air.
Okay.
But me and you, the conversation. Oh, we just like I think through text message. You were telling me about the boarding school.
Oh, okay.
And so-
so recently then.
Yeah, recently, really
Okay.
recently, and like that blew my mind. Just that little bit of knowledge. I think what you were telling me was that boarding schools
soda.
that's not something that's out of reach for low income and for black kids in low income communities.
Mm-hmm.
Which in my mind, I thought it was an absolute thing that is out of the
Yeah.
question.
What we were arguing about was the fact that I said that I think
Oh no,
that
we're not going back to the argument.
No,
We're
but
not doing
I
that.
no, because I want to bring up what we were talking about, Jonathan. Okay, what I said was I think that we need to. You putting your hands on your
Well,
face
I'm
like
definitely
that?
going to rebuttal, so this is definitely going to go on. But let's
Okay,
go.
cool, great. So, Jonathan, let me ask you what you think about this. No, seriously. You asshole, Slim. Fuck
I'm
you.
definitely gonna rebuttal,
So what I said was that I think that there needs to be more of an importance placed on okay, so we teach our kids home economics and we teach our kids certain things when they're in like junior high school and stuff like that, right? We have shop, we teach them how to wash dishes, we teach them how to cook, but we don't teach them anything about finance at all. We don't teach them about credit scores. We don't teach them about any of these things. We don't teach them about the fact that it would be harmful for you to amass credit card debt when you get to college, right? Now, look, here's the thing. People were saying that, you teach sex ed in school and they still have sex. So that was the argument that they made that as to why we shouldn't teach financial education in school. It's not a bald-faced lie. It's not a bald-faced lie.
Boy.
No,
So
no,
if
wait,
I-
hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm not lying and I'm not exaggerating. What I said was we should teach children about the dangers of getting credit, because when you get to college, this is when I was in school, when you get to college, the first thing they do is try to shove credit cards down your throat as soon as you get to school, okay? And they say, okay, you're automatically approved for whatever credit card, okay?
Right.
So you're going to, especially if you don't really have coins like that, you're hungry at this moment, and you say, okay, I'm going to apply for this credit card and stuff like that. And they don't teach you the dangers of applying for credit cards just in general, not like you're not going to pay the credit card back, but just teaching you the dangers of amassing debt at such an early age. That's not something that they teach you in school.
Right. So the argument is they should teach that in school, or at least
Yeah.
before you get to college. And,
Right,
Right.
right.
And your argument is that they
My
shouldn't?
argument is yes, they should. Yes.
Oh,
they should.
okay.
Anything.
No, that's not what you said. I'm dying. I'm leaving right
I'm
now.
allowing for you to change to my mind. I was wrong, and now you were right, and I do not want to have this argument again.
No,
Never
because
again until I
that's what they
die.
said. They
Never
were like,
again until I
it wouldn't
die.
make no wait. They dead ass said, Jonathan, I'm not
I
even
changed my
jiving.
mind.
They said it wouldn't have made no difference. And they tag teamed me.
I remember
Her and
saying that. It
Robert
was awful.
tag-teamed
It was a
me.
slaughter.
They tag teamed me, and they was like, oh, it wouldn't have made no difference because they teach. Their argument was that they teach sex ed in school,
Well, that's
and kids
part you're
still have
making up.
unprotected sex.
But
that, no,
but the
that
other part
was
is
our-
true.
Guess what? You can look back on the fucking shit. Go on the fucking and look at it. That's what they said. And what I said was, it doesn't matter. not everybody is going to heed whatever information, but at least you're armed with this knowledge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's correct for like all
about
subjects.
A credit score.
Right.
I didn't know anything about any of that.
We agree.
I was-
How could you possibly make the
We do
argument
agree. We
that,
agree. You're
that you
right.
shouldn't
Okay,
teach
so this
kids
is the
about a
thing.
credit score?
So this is the thing. When you were saying that, you were right, and I was completely wrong, and I didn't understand that. So I went and I took counsel with him, and he really, really opened my eyes to it.
Oh, so
And
y'all
I
had
never
this
wanna have it-
conversation.
right? And I
Oh,
never
my
wanna have it
bad.
again,
All right, so
as
continue.
long as
I'm
I
sorry.
live.
I'm sorry.
But you were right. Okay. so- but-
Yeah, no, so I agree with that.
Of course.
The financial stuff that I was taught, at least it was either middle school or high school, maybe both,
Right.
was how to balance a checkbook. That was it. I think everyone, at some sense, they might even still
I
teach
did-
that
definitely
today.
didn't
Like,
learn
no
that.
one really writes checks
I didn't even
anymore.
get that
Like,
in
so-
school. I didn't even. They
you
didn't
didn't.
teach. Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
so I mean that was the only thing I got. So when I got to college, I did get all those applications. In fact, it was actually kind of amazing to me. So there was a lot of my friends. They were talking about the I forget what. It was either a Pell Grant or something loan. It's
Pell and
something
TAP
that
grant.
just the U.S. just
They
like
give
throw
you
money
money.
at you.
Yeah.
And they were talking about getting that money and going and spending it elsewhere. And I was like, wait, you can do that? Like,
But wait, they laughed at me. Hold on. They laughed at me because I said that kids was looking at it like free money.
yeah, that's exactly how they. Well,
Right.
and at least
Jesus
not credit,
Christ
but yeah.
of motherfucking Nazareth.
You're making-
Where the
okay.
fuck- no,
I'm
because
sorry.
they fucking
Now I have to-
they was in here.
I'm sorry to the audience. I
Wildin' out.
apologize. So now that was not the argument.
Wildin' out.
The actual argument.
They was in here wilding
That-
out because I was talking about free money. Listen to me.
Okay, the actual
Young kids-
argument was
young
whether
kids-
or not. Thank
Young
God you're
kids
here, 'cause
don't
she's just
look.
making-
Young kids don't look at.
Thank goodness you're here.
Jonathan. Young kids don't look at.
So anyway,
Loans
I'm not
and
gonna
stuff
just
like
let you
that.
start making shit up.
Right.
What happened in? I'm not
No,
gonna let
I'm
you
not
do
making
that.
anything up. I'm not
What
even that type
happened
of
is
person.
what happened during
No,
that
no, no, don't say
conversation.
that I was making
what you
anything up.
did, that
No, I
part you
didn't.
made up about
No.
us saying that the sex. I never said.
No,
so
no.
in sex. So you're saying in sex. I'm not even gonna go.
No.
I'm not even doing that.
Hold on a second. No, wait, no, you can't even
So
do that.
anyway, my
no,
point
it's not
is
so
that-
anyway. It's not
Oh
so
my
anyway.
gosh.
No, it's not so anyway.
You're right.
No, it's
about
not so
everything,
anyway.
but I'm gonna.
Here's the thing. It's not that I'm right about everything. Here's
I'm
the
not
thing.
doing this. Let's get
When
back
I
to
said
this,
that, no. When I said that they should that they should teach us in school,
Mm-hmm.
they made the. I don't know if it was her or him that made the argument that said that they teach sex ed in school and kids are still going to have unprotected sex.
Here you go.
That didn't come from nowhere, and that's not. I didn't make that up, so don't accuse me of that. I would never
Okay,
do that.
you're right.
That's number one. Okay, so don't even try to say that.
All
No,
right.
because like you wildin' now. Now you just
Okay,
you
because you're
wildin'.
not. I'm not gonna let you. I'm never. I don't care who it is. Gonna let you misstate what happened. That's never gonna happen.
And I'm not misstating it, and that's
never
what I'm
gonna
trying to
happen.
say.
I hate that
referring to
it
a
makes
previous
things
convo we had
awkward.
or something?
Yeah, we
I
are.
hate that it
And
makes things awkward, but I'm not gonna let that happen.
I never said that.
I tried not to get back into
Was I here for that combo?
Never said
Yes.
I was here for that
that. You
combo.
were here
So,
for that convo.
but you
You
still
was
got
one of the
time,
main
so I'm gonna
ones.
let you go.
saying that it's that even if they teach sex ed, people are
Yes.
No, that's not what.
Did you or did you
wait
not
a minute,
say
I
that?
don't even remember the combo.
But that's not how she.
Okay.
That's the
Because
disclaimer.
She
You
reframed
did.
it.
You did.
That's not how she reframed
No,
it.
that's how I
Okay,
framed
okay.
it. I said it simply like that. I said that the argument was made that it doesn't make sense to teach kids about credit scores and all that stuff when they get to college and they're bombarded with credit applications and stuff like that in the hallways of the school because they teach kids about sex eds in school and kids still end up having unprotected
No, I
sex.
definitely- I definitely
I'm not
never
fucking
said that.
retarded.
Okay, well, I definitely never
said
that.
That's
So
what you
it's just-
said. That's I don't know if
Well,
it
we'll
was
look it
you
up later.
or you.
We'll look it
One
up
of y'all
later.
said it. Anyway,
We'll look it up
the
later.
fucking shit is there, and I'm not
I
not
remember the school.
exaggerating,
I
and
remember the
that's
credit
what
card
happened.
conversation, but
So
I don't
we
remember
don't-
the sex
I'm
ed
not
one.
gonna try to
I'll look it up.
rewrite
it's not even
history.
How can
That's
we?
what
It's on
happened.
record. It's on record.
Facts.
It is on record.
So don't-
but you know
nobody
what
can
it is?
rewrite.
Now it's a matter of whether I'm being too passionate about it as opposed to whether it happened. I
We
think
didn't
we
want
need
to
to all
go-
acknowledge that it happened.
It did
that
not.
Okay, fine. So then you're not going to acknowledge that it happened, but it did. It did happen.
Okay.
It did happen. And the fact of the matter
I
is,
love you guys,
both
by
of
the
you
way.
guys,
Just wanted to
both
add
of
that.
I
you
tried to
and
avoid
you,
this.
Both of you and you, because I'm pretty sure it's evident to the audience that's watching now. That
Oh,
everyone
boy.
sees that you guys are both. Well, not you're deflecting.
go.
You just got here, so we kind of confuse you of deflecting. But You guys both
Yeah,
fucking
I know.
tag
It's
team
nothing
me
to do.
and try to make me look like I was stupid, Jonathan. They both try to make me look like I was stupid.
You're not
They
stupid.
really,
We
really
would
did.
never do that.
And they
Come
spent the
on.
better part of 30 minutes, and then she was like super passionate, flicking up her hands like, oh,
That's how I do.
and blah, 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 as if I was fucking stupid for
That's
trying
my
to fucking say that they should teach that shit in school. And yes,
All
they
right.
did. That is exactly what happened. And look, here's the thing. I don't fucking what I got to lie about. The shit is there on the fucking
You're right.
the record.
That's true.
Okay?
That's true.
And that's what you said. That's what you said.
Okay.
And that's it.
Well, I
my
will
point
definitely
is-
admit it
my
if that's what
point
I
is-
said.
Wonderful. Thank you finally.
You're
So my
welcome.
point is, look, here's the thing. It's not even a matter of me so much saying that this is what happened. I'm more concerned with pushing the argument that this is something that needs to be in part of the curriculum in schools as far as credit reports and things like that. We shouldn't learn about credit reports in college.
I think you're definitely right about
We
that.
shouldn't learn about credit reports when it's too late, after we already have amassed maybe $3,000 or $4,000 of credit card debt. That's not the time for a young person who's 19 or 20 years old, who already has college loans from whatever shit that they trying to do. That's not the time.
I
I'm still
completely
paying
agree
my
with
damn
that.
college loan.
Yes, yeah, forever. But
Are you
I
over
agree
here
with you.
proving
Hopefully
my
not
point
forever,
again?
but
Okay.
still
So
only
here's
been
the thing.
a couple
for
That
me.
shouldn't be the time. The same way we learned about basic home economics learned about home economics in high school and junior high school. You understand what I'm saying? How to like you said, balance a checkbook, or cook eggs, or the basic shit that you
Right.
learn. It's the same way these things should be taught to young kids, so they're armed with the knowledge of not being enticed to amass credit card debt when they get to college.
Right.
I don't know how that's could possibly be something that you could fight against. I don't like. Am I crazy or
No,
what?
I can tell you when your time is out. So you still got things to say.
No, I don't even. I wasn't even paying attention to
Oh,
this
but that's
fucking
okay.
shit.
I gave you a nice long chunky here though, 5 minutes. But so my rebuttal to that would be this.
Jonathan, no.
So my
because
rebuttal,
Jonathan's
no,
a
I'm
guest.
gonna go ahead and rebuttal that. There's no getting out of that.
So wait, real quickly though,
Ain't no
real
getting out
quickly
of
though. I just went and Googled it. In high school, personal finance is an elective class, so it's an option.
Yeah, that's
It's
great.
an option,
Yeah,
And that's if that
but
high
it should be a
school offers
prerequisite. It
that,
should be a
that
prerequisite.
election.
That's
Yeah.
the thing. It
Okay.
should be a prerequisite.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say two things. The first thing I'm gonna say, let me give myself a minute. I gave you 5. I'm giving myself a minute. So the first thing I want to say is I think that you are absolutely right, because on reflection after that show, on reflection, even before this conversation, but especially after the conversation with him. But on reflection, anytime there's education, there's no. How can you fight education? I do not want to be on that camera. With all due respect, not that one.
I don't even know what.
But
to
you know
say,
that. That's
like,
not new. You already knew that for a long,
No, it's
long
not
time.
even that I don't know that you're on all the cameras.
I
so,
love
okay?
these.
Cool, great. Okay, so I'm gonna keep it off you, but go ahead.
But so as I was saying, I think that you were right about that. You know what I'm saying?
you wasn't saying that last night.
I was.
You wasn't.
You're right. I was
You
wrong.
wasn't. You was in here yelling and screaming and,
I
throwing
that
your
was
fucking
wrong. That
hands.
was awful, and I should
But
not have
you're
done
really
that.
right.
But on reflection, I learned better. I grew a little bit. I think that you were right, and I was wrong for that. But with that being said, the conversation that we had was not whatever that stuff you were just saying. What I did say was that I don't believe that it will deter anybody from going out and still running up these bills and getting these credit cards. That's what I said. That was my position.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but it's not
What
record,
you
so I'm
said
not gonna
was
argue.
what you
No,
said
no,
was
we're
we
not
shouldn't
doing that.
bother.
We're not doing that. We're not
no,
doing
because
that.
what you said was
it's my
no,
turn
because
to
I
talk.
want the
It's not-
record to be
you turn
clear.
it off.
I want the record to be clear. What you said was that
So,
you shouldn't
as I
bother.
was saying,
no.
my position
That's
on
so
that-
unfair. That's not what you said.
my position on that was that that shit is not going to work. People just going to fuck up their money anyway. But with that being said,
No, that's
now
not the case.
I do have a new lease on this situation.
Wow.
Because not knowing about
That's
other
crazy,
things about education, not knowing other things about education, makes me realize that I probably was missing out on mad shit. Hey, Tep could have been in boarding school.
So I think it's
you know what
how
I'm saying?
how
Is my
you
mic cut
how
off?
you're
I just
taught.
need to know this.
you
Because
can turn it
if
back
I'm
on.
sitting up here with my mic cut off, I want to know this.
No, you
Oh,
on.
No,
I can
your
hear
mic
you.
was off, but it's but
No,
it's
my mic
that
better
time.
not never be cut off.
Okay, it was.
If I'm a part of the show,
And you
because
are-
that's
I'm
not what
not
you
just a part
said.
of the show, you
That's
are
not what you
equal
said.
parts of the show,
No,
but
because
you're
that's
not
not
gonna
what
be
you said.
disrespectful.
That's not what you
that's
said.
Not okay. That's
Okay.
not okay.
Okay. I
That's
want to
never
make
okay.
sure. I want to make sure.
That's not okay.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm gonna let you, and then I'll
All
talk
right,
later.
so
Go ahead,
I think
Jonathan.
it's
Go ahead.
what the curriculum is, and then how it's taught as well. So I can give you like a prime example, like
Okay.
the DARE program, which existed when we were all in school.
Okay.
So that kept me from not trying a bunch of drugs because of how, how it was taught. Like I was literally afraid to try drugs.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But at the same time, it armed me like, okay, if I were to try drugs, these are the types that I would try. And these are the types that I wouldn't
Right,
try.
right.
So, and I think it's how it's taught, right? So, in some sense, I do agree
There
with
was
you.
effective. There
It
was
depends,
effective.
and I agree with you
Right.
wholeheartedly.
Right.
But
So-
you don't think
I was
that,
scared of crack for life.
that educating people on shit is just completely fucking pointless. That's my
Well, no.
point.
So,
Oh, no, of course
and I don't
not.
think she would agree
I don't
to that
agree
either.
with
No,
So
because but that was the argument that is the
Well,
argument
they
that
can
they
watch
were
it.
making.
They can watch the show,
and they
see
can
what was
completely
what.
watch the show, and that's what the fuck they were saying. And I'm not even gonna let it go even a piece or a tiny smortion.
Well, luckily,
that's what the
I'm
fuck
glad,
they were
'cause
saying.
you double down. So when we go back to the
Right.
tape, it's
So
gonna
then
be
you
like-
go back and then you will see it for your motherfucking self. That's what the fuck happened. Right. Y'all not finna have me up here looking stupid.
No,
No.
you could never. You
No,
could never.
no,
You
but
could
it's not
never.
even that. It's not even the principle of the thing. Like, no, I don't like that. Don't try to rewrite history.
I
Don't
agree
try to
with
fucking
you.
do that. Don't fucking play me. Don't try
That's
to
how I
do that.
felt. That's why we got it.
No,
because I thought
right,
that's what you were
exactly,
doing.
right,
'Cause I thought that's what
right,
you were
right,
doing.
exactly, right.
But we're good
right.
now, though. And we're gonna go back to
I
the tape.
hope
and
so.
promise.
I hope so.
We
I
are.
hope so.
You got it.
Okay,
You got it.
okay, right.
So now, moving on. Let's talk about the next topic on that same page, though. There's obviously things that we did not know, that I did not know, as a poor black woman in the ghetto. There's a lot of things, pieces of education that I didn't know that probably could have removed some of the obstacles out of my way that I did not think could be moved. So that's a new thing that I learned just recently, that you, even if you think you know a lot, even if you try to educate yourself on what the obstacles are in your way, and you look at a door and you say that door can't be moved, maybe it can, from somebody else looking at it from another angle. You know what I'm saying? All black people are not on one step in one area looking at things the exact same way. Some of us are in a position to see things differently and maybe show others the same kind of path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why we come to people who might have been successful in things like starting businesses and things like that. Try to show us, like, is there some things that, even though we're an oppressed people, we can still maneuver into thriving with businesses and things like that.
So, one, I don't like when people say that I'm successful. You said successful and kind of did this. It makes me feel a
she
little
pointed
weird
right at you,
because me
honey.
personally, I feel like I haven't reached
I
the
definitely
success
could've
where
did
I
this,
need.
this.
Yeah, I
I
need
definitely
to be.
could've
So,
did this.
like,
Okay, so,
So-
look, so
I definitely
here's the thing.
could've.
So we will wait for
But
you.
I wanted your
You-
input. That's all.
no, so
we'll get.
so
yours.
I'm ready when you guys are. But
But go ahead. We
But
can
yeah,
go with
let's-
him. We can
okay.
move on.
So what's the question again?
Basically, the question. Well, I had different kind of questions for you, but this question actually applies to you too. If you do know, like, have you seen ways that black people can find businesses and find a way to get their own business popping without feeling like, dang, it's always, we're oppressed, it's always against us. So what can we do? Do you have ideas about what you can do?
Yeah, the very first thing that we can do is change your mentality. Because
Okay.
as you stated earlier, when you live in the victim mentality, it literally blinds you from opportunities that literally are in your immediate surroundings.
Okay.
So the definition of success is actually when preparedness and opportunity meet. So if people aren't prepared for opportunities that come their way, they can't be successful. Because
Okay.
success is not necessarily a monetary thing. Success is subjective. Everyone has their own definition of success.
So when you
Of
say
course.
living in a victim mentality, expound on that. Like, what do you mean by that?
So it's it's no lie that we've been oppressed and we've been marginalized for over 400 years in this country, and globally. That's another topic for another day.
Right, for you.
So understanding that we've had such a major disadvantage, but building off of stuff that you lady said earlier, we're always able to break through these obstacles that seem insurmountable, we have to really think, how were we even able to do that? In slavery, they said that everyone's illiterate, people couldn't read or write, but half of the inventions that came out in the United States and America came from slaves that didn't know how to read or write. So how is that even possible?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it really comes down to your mentality. If you have the victim mentality, you're never going to perceive opportunities no matter what.
Here's the thing, right? So I understand exactly what you're saying. The only reason why I asked you that is because, like, when people talk about a victim mentality, you already know where I'm headed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but
I was going to say,
yeah,
I think it could be worded differently.
Right,
like not taking
That's why I said
responsibility.
exactly what you were saying.
Down on that, and I'm so appreciative of how you just expressed yourself, and how you explained everything. You know what I mean? Because I thought we were about to be on some pull yourself up by your bootstraps type
that's
shit, and you weren't. And it's so refreshing. Can I get a round of applause? Please. Thank you so much.
I thought you were headed that way too.
Thank you so much. Right, and he did it. There we go. There we go. And thank you so much. No, but I really, really appreciate that. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I don't want to tell you how to
another
talk.
word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got.
I wish there was another word because
right.
I use that word a lot too, and I know it triggers people.
Right, and it really,
you know
really
what I'm
does
saying?
trigger people, and it kind of turns people off because it's the same tired trope, like, oh, blah, blah, but the way that you express yourself, and you just, bless you.
But you know what I think, like what was really important with what he just said is being able to recognize opportunity. I
Right.
think that's like a very, very humongous thing.
Yes.
That for most of us, like opportunities passes by because we don't recognize it.
Right.
Like, I think that's
Right.
even more important than the victimization.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with that because that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in how can we get people to see it. How do you see the path? Because I think a lot of us don't see the path. Like, even though success means something different to everybody, it's subjective, right? But how do we even come to a meeting of the minds of like whatever our idea is of success? If come from a neighborhood where we don't feel like we have that those opportunities, somebody can show us like, no, wait a minute, here's something you did not consider that it can be moved.
Yeah,
and then
but
I'd be like, oh.
But subtracting the success part, I think that's where the financial literacy and the financial savvy comes in. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that that's like the determinant of it, but it definitely helps.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
when you could quantify like, yo, X amount of hours invested in X will give me Y versus, you get what I'm saying? So
I do.
I definitely think
And
that the
Well,
financial.
it actually could be that thing that someone needs in order to break free of what, for lack of a better word, being a victim in their surroundings. Just being armed with that financial knowledge could
I agree, 100%.
like propel you above than whatever you were thinking before. So
I agree.
like for example, like you told me about the business that you just started.
Yes.
And so the first thing that came to mind
You were
was
you're gonna come and help me out.
well, yeah, that
You did.
too.
And I was like,
But let me tell you what I was thinking. I was like, I'm wondering if she has an actual sheet that she's balancing,
Yeah.
like the containers that you're buying,
Right.
versus like how much does like one broccoli cost
Right,
for
right,
like that I'm
right,
eating out
right,
of my plate,
right.
and are you making a profit based upon everything you're spending
Yeah.
versus or like even the gas you're spending to go drive to
You're
deliver
absolutely
these
right.
meals.
You're absolutely right.
And if you well, one, I'm sure you do, but like if it was just someone that said, hey, I have this great idea of making these delicious meals. This is delicious, by the way.
Thank you.
At home,
Word.
and then and then delivering it, to people who actually enjoy my food and would like purchase from me on a weekly basis. Do I even know that? That the amount of money I spend on gas actually comes
Right.
out of the net profit that I would make
Yeah.
from all of this. So,
Yeah.
like, just being armed with that information would, like,
no, you're absolutely right. But let me
put
just
you in a
say
better position than
really,
everyone
really
else.
quickly. Here's the thing, right? And it goes back to what I was saying before about like black people supporting each other and stuff like that. I know what you were saying, Robert, and I know what other people say. What you were talking about earlier, but I just want to reiterate the fact that black people do support each other. We do.
Absolutely.
Now, whether it's on a level that would be, optimal and perfect, no, of course not. But the notion that black people don't support each other is just not. It's just not accurate.
No.
And like he said,
It's only perpetuated on social media.
It
by the
really,
way.
really is.
And I learned that
look,
when
I
being
said
off
that I
of
was
it,
going to
like-
start,
Right.
when I said I was going to start my thing, people were inboxing me like crazy. How can I support people who don't even live in this state? Were buying food for Monique, like, oh, let me buy for her because I can't buy. You know what I mean? And
They're
then
looking out,
Jonathan
Trini,
found
where my
out about
plate
it.
at?
Looking at
Jonathan found out about it and was like, if you want, I could give you a few hours. You understand what I'm saying? And mad people from all over the places was like, yo, I'm going to help you out. Blah, blah, blah. Robert, of course, was, you know what I'm saying? All my friends, everybody were super supportive. And I know Robert was like, oh, people like you. You know what I mean? People might like me.
It's
People
kind
might
of the
like
truth,
me.
though. You're
people,
a loved
no, but
person.
people might like me.
That shit goes a long way.
But you're not going to support someone that you don't like in general. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to buy a Trump hat. I hate that nigga. You know what I'm saying? So it just.
If I was
it's
selling
like,
Trump hats, you'd be buying one.
right. But this is the thing. We really actually do support each other. We really do.
Absolutely.
When it counts, like we really, really do. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
these are people like this came out the woodwork with no, like, Jonathan lives in the fucking in the Ozarks in fucking New Jersey, like mad far from where I live. You know what I mean? So my point is, like, we do really, really support each other. But no, Jonathan, you're asking all the right questions, and I need to ask myself these questions, and we're gonna like link up one of these days and have lunch and definitely talk about that,
Yeah,
because I definitely need to do that. Right now, I'm at a place where, like, I'm just like overwhelmed with orders, and I'm just like not really thinking about what I should
Well, that's a
probably
good
be
place.
thinking about.
I'd rather you be like busy than having to worry about lag.
I am, and Robert thinks I'm not charging enough for stuff
don't
and
think
stuff
so.
like that, and you know, so like it's just so we're gonna work. We're definitely gonna work on
Your
that.
portions are crazy for the price that you charge.
Yes.
Period.
All right. So here's
That's
the thing.
a big
what
portion.
I want to do is I want to.
But people are buying though.
They're
right?
buying.
Yeah,
they're
so-
buying, and they're,
But that's
they're
part of the reason
consistently
why.
buying. I got text messages while I'm
They're
on,
getting
on the
2
air right now.
servants
So
for the
it's like,
price of
what I
one.
want to do is I want something that's going to set me apart from other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to set me apart from other people is my cost, right?
Well, the
I don't
food
want.
it's already sets you apart. Just for the
Thank you
record.
so much.
say.
So
That's what I was about to
and
say.
I try very hard with that, right?
I don't even
But
eat broccoli, but that broccoli was good.
My daughter too.
Buy
She
yourself
eats broccoli, right?
right?
So
Real talk.
I want the cost to set me apart from people. I want the quantity to set me apart from people.
I don't know about the cost. You don't need to be set apart that much by the cost. But we can
look,
we can
but
discuss it
here's
more.
the thing. Look,
But for me, I don't think that that's something that you should put down. But since
Okay.
I have zero input in your business,
Okay. No,
we'll
but you're
talk about
right.
that later.
Okay.
But that's how I
you
feel
know,
about that.
so but I do definitely need a little advice when it comes to certain things, and I'm going to definitely work on that or whatever. But the orders are coming in, and tomorrow I'm going to have to wake up dumb early and like get out and do what I got to do. And like I
Fire.
said, I'm
And
on
you're
the air,
here.
and like,
And
I'm
like
getting
you,
text
you-
messages and stuff like
you're
that.
here
So
till midnight and got
yeah,
things to do in
no,
the
but it's
morning.
all good. I'll be up in the morning. This morning I was up at 6:30. I had deliveries before I went to go teach my classes at fucking 9:30. So it's all good. Like I'm ready. Like that's not even an issue. You know what I mean? I just need help with other stuff like what you were saying and stuff like that. You know. So but look,
Can I get that thing
Um,
right here? Now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, what do you say to someone who does need to see? And I'm going to go to the comments and see if they got questions. Into the mic. So I want to know, like, what kind of advice do you have for someone who might need to see, who might not see a way out, who's like,
Yeah.
man, the only thing I got, the only thing I know how to do is draw. That's all I got, and
yeah.
I'm gonna
Drawing
die
is
in this fucking
lucrative,
ghetto.
for real.
You don't say.
No, people who know how to draw.
But I
get
would like to
bread.
know how somebody who doesn't know what to do with that talent, how they would go.
Well, so if you're asking me,
I
so
am.
I've never been in that position, so I hate giving it advice
Oh, I see.
or
I see what
positions
you're
I've
saying.
never been in. But I mean, if I had to imagine if I was in a position like that, then it's really just putting yourself in a situation. It really has to do with the community that's around you. If you're feeling like that, and then someone knows that, hey, this is what you're passionate at, or this is what you're good at, and
Right.
then they're not encouraging you, then you're probably not in a good situation in terms of just your state of mind in general.
Right,
So
I see what you're saying.
the answer to the question is I don't know, because I've
Right.
never been in this situation
Yeah.
where I haven't had encouragement at the very least saying, hey, you're good at this. Maybe you
That's
should
dope.
pursue this.
Right.
And it's hard for me to even imagine that too. Not just from like my mother, for example. Like she's, that's probably the only person that I could be like a professional bank robber and she would support me in doing this. She's like, hey, she knows that I'm good at doing that. And she would support me in doing it. So, I think it's really dependent on your support system. Like if you're feeling that way, you probably don't have that support system to begin with, and to get out of that is probably a tough thing to do. So, the answer is I don't know.
That makes sense to me, though. I hear what you're saying. Did you? What about you? What do you think about that?
Well, I definitely agree with him 100%.
About the encouragement part, for real. Like,
Yeah,
I think that people underrate encouragement. Somebody's whole dream can die if somebody doesn't.
No, that's a
Right.
fact.
Yeah.
Nick, you're right.
You're not
right.
You're
right.
absolutely right.
You're right.
You're not
You're
lying.
right.
So I'm gonna borrow something I heard Steve Harvey say because I've been listening to like a lot of his random motivational
Whoa.
speeches.
You want-
This is
I can't wait.
this is pre-Trump era. This is
Okay. Like,
this is before all the fiascos.
This
and
is
stuff.
toupee Steve Harvey.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Or
You know, so-
when his suits came down with his chin.
This is Stacey Adams Steve Harvey.
Big suit Steve Harvey or medium
Big suit
suit?
Steve Harvey.
This is Project Steve Harvey.
So Mr.
Okay.
Big Suits, Steve Harvey told me, your gift will make room for you. And
Okay.
as you were saying that, you know, how would you give advice? I definitely agree with you 100% because I can't tell people, I can't give advice based off of situations I haven't been in.
Right.
But when it comes to your gift and your talent, that's the one thing that we can all do, and it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So you can literally spend 20 hours in a day, only get 4 hours of sleep, and you're not thinking, damn, like, I barely got any sleep. It's like,
Oh my
yo,
God, you're
like
right.
literally, like that. Exactly. You were just
Yes.
explaining that. You're like, yo,
Yes.
like, you know, I had my class I had to teach in the morning.
Yeah.
I had my stuff to do, but like, I got this.
I
It's
didn't
like,
care.
you know?
I did not care. I did not care. You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's the first time in my life that I just like didn't give a fuck. Like
I think if
I
people
was up
have
at
hope-
2:30 making oxtail, went to sleep, got up at 6:30, and had to fucking go out and make deliveries. I didn't give a fuck.
I think if people have hope, like they really believe in what
Yes,
they're doing,
no,
they,
you're right.
That's
You're
a
absolutely
that's a
right.
great
You're
battery
absolutely
in your
right.
back.
You're absolutely
You know?
But let me
You're
just
right.
throw an answer out there for you guys.
Yeah.
Hypothetical
Yes.
situation. If you're an artist, check out Fiverr. Fiverr is a place where you can sell
Fiverr?
your skill. Fiverr,
I thought it was Fiverr.
Fiverr.
Okay.
If you're an artist, if you know how to do graphic design, even if you know how to write good fucking business plans,
Yeah.
there's somebody on there for you.
They did this for me, Fiverr.
There you go.
They sure
Wow.
There you go.
that's
I mean,
the
so
one
you're-
who did that.
There's a lot
That
of
one, that's dope.
like gig communities that's been Fiverr's been around for a while,
Yeah,
but
Fiverr is dope.
but yeah, like those type of marketplaces is what they're called. Are good for people who do things like that. So, but again, you going back to what you were talking about, hope. I mean, where do you get hope from?
The audacity
So-
of it.
Whatever, Miss Obama.
Yeah.
whatever, Barack.
Michelle Obama 2020.
But I mean, no, but in a way, like that actually is kind of true, though. You know what I mean?
Like, it
Like,
goes back to the community that you're in, like the people who have your back, or
Word.
it only really takes that one person. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't happen to be like, you know, multiple people. It
Right.
can just be that one person
Yeah.
that like.
But you know what? If there's any takeaway from this discussion today, that is the takeaway. Like that should be like the main theme
Yeah.
of what you were saying about how black people do have each other's backs. We absolutely
Yeah.
do. So since once we start to trust each other, or at least trust enough to seek out the ones who really got our back like that, once you start to do that, then
Yeah.
you are building a very solid support system.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the circles that we like, the progressive black atheists, you know, people
community.
community, we have a certain something that
Having a
is like,
strong inner circle is really
Oh,
important.
yeah, absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
a fact.
and
Like, you
it's
could
a
have the
fact.
worst idea on the planet, but
and they will
someone
still,
yeah,
still with it. They will, and then if it's a good idea, then you really on fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I think that is. If
But
there's any
regardless, that's
takeaway,
what-
you
that's
need-
Yeah,
what
but
everyone
even if
does.
it's a bad idea, you know, when that idea fucks up, you learn from that. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Yeah.
Bars.
That's the worst
Facts.
ideas that make
Word is
these
bond.
$1 billion. Like, it's the worst ideas, or the simplest ideas, actually. So,
Right.
Yeah.
it comes down to the support system you have. If you don't have that, like, and that's why it's so important too. Like, even if you barely know someone, if they bring up something, like let's say we're on Facebook and they make a post
Right.
about something that it like I like it, when it comes to business, like that just excites me in general.
Right.
Like someone's talking about, hey, they're doing something, they're starting on their own. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I want to know how I can help. Like,
Yeah.
even if
Yeah.
it's just
Right.
giving you information,
Yeah.
that's something that I really enjoy
That's your
doing.
thing.
So, and I think in general, black people at some level enjoy that as well, knowing that another black person is saying, "Hey, I'm going to venture out and do this thing on my own."
Right.
And at least from my experiences, when I've seen, just looking from the outside of me not knowing someone but two other black people, it's always a positive experience, or at least saying that that's a good idea. They should always at least attempt to do what they want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So really quickly, so you said you was working at the bank before, right? So what made you transition over into real estate? Like, what was the thing that
Thank
you
you.
was like,
Yeah.
you know what,
I
I'm not
didn't hear
fucking
that
with this
part
no
earlier.
more. This shit ain't fucking popping no more. Like, what really? Because you're the kind of person that could definitely excel in so many different other areas, like just in general. Like I have a feeling that whatever you put your motherfucking finger on, you'd excel at, right?
Can I ask a question first before you answer that? Like, so why did you decide to go into baking?
In the
originally,
true.
So the interesting thing about that is I was working at Target at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was attending school at City Tech. They would always have these random job fairs. And there was a point in time, like, I was completely frustrated with my job. I was
Yeah.
like, tired of this shit. I can't do this no
What
more.
you was doing at Target?
I basically did everything. I started off as a sales floor team member.
Yeah.
I was cross-trained as a cashier.
Cashier,
I was
all that
cross-trained
stock and all that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
doing everything. And after a while, I got tired of it because I'm putting in all this work, and then if my team fucks up, it's like, yeah, you
right.
fucked up too. And it's
Right.
like, what? Like,
Right, I did all my shit. You see on the shop folding.
Trying to make me a part of the
Right,
group
right,
so,
project.
so I got tired of it. So there was a point in time I was literally speaking to myself. I was saying, like, I want to be in an environment where even though I'll be a part of a team, my individual tasks that I do, I'll actually be held accountable for it. So
Yeah.
I can no longer be penalized for
Yeah.
other stuff that people do.
Yeah.
And I just went to a job fair, and I ended up getting the job.
Yeah.
From that day that I had my interview, there were 4 people that I was interviewing with. All of them had college degrees. I don't have a college degree, by the
And
way.
they fucking took your ass. Like Gary, I knew it.
So
Yes.
She is absolutely right. You do have that.
You do.
The
You could just,
that
I would
thing.
off top, like if I were still in management, like you would be, I wouldn't even fucking bother even. I would talk to you for 5 minutes and hire you.
yeah,
So
you're
it's-
pre-groomed.
If I-
Yeah, I could tell off top.
For me,
Yeah.
talking to Monique about liquor real quick. So I missed like the butt end of that. But so I think I got what you were saying. You basically realize that this isn't your own shit.
Right.
So, it doesn't matter what you do. It's not going to be yours. It doesn't matter like how well you perform
Yeah.
within whatever organization that you're
Yeah.
in. So, at least with Target, then you decided to go into
banking. So
Banking?
I was working
Okay.
for. I was formerly a personal banker with TD Bank. I was with them for about 5 to 6 years.
Why you decide to go with TD Bank as opposed to other?
Because at the time that was the opportunity that was provided to me.
Okay.
But then I always wanted to learn more about the banking system. So when I was offered the opportunity to work in the bank, I was like, yo, this is the perfect way to understand how to balance your checkbooks. And
Yes,
I didn't
yes,
learn this
yes.
in high school. Like,
Right, right.
this was the perfect opportunity to be introduced to finance and actually understand. And from doing that for a while, I've realized that real estate is one of the real estate basically makes the world go round.
Yeah, it
Real
does.
estate is one of those industries where as long as land exists, we're gonna need to do stuff,
Yes.
and you need to do it on the land.
Thank you. Yeah.
So as long as you own land, you're basically your king. You
Yeah.
can do whatever you want.
yeah. So okay.
Except for when you break zoning laws.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Or if
changed
eminent
zoning
domain
law.
comes your way.
I'm gonna give
Or if
you.
you forget to pay your land tax for a couple years.
Yeah, pretty much. You never own nothing in the U.S. But
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
what you're
But
saying,
no,
for
I
all
understand
intents-
exactly what
and
you're
there's a
saying.
process, but it depends. You have to buy unincorporated land. I looked into this a little bit. I don't want to sound like those ultra,
You
but
sure?
yeah,
sound
but,
like it.
but I,
He do. He sound like
Listen, wait.
he sound like a sovereign citizen type shit. Where
You
he
got a
think
business card?
This is my land.
No, but
And no, y'all
I
better get off
actually
my
looked
land. You're
into,
going to jail, buddy.
Is it possible to actually owning your own land in the United States where you're not, you don't have to pay taxes or anything? And there is, but there's only a little bit of that land left in the
Right.
U.S.
Oh.
that you can do that on.
But
So-
even that land, though, let's say you buy it and you own it, you don't have to pay taxes or anything.
Yeah.
The
Well, yeah,
government
federal
can still
government,
decide.
Yeah. They can come in and say, yeah.
Right.
A lot of people realize that. But I wanted to ask you another question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
As far as the real estate thing is concerned, not really a question, but I'm gonna come right back to you because I want to frame this for the audience really quickly, like I do. But I just wanted to say, like, the conversation that we're having, it really is about how many people are out there who feel like a 9 to 5 is really their only way to proceed. They're like kind of scared to make that step into business. Real estate is one of those things that can be extremely scary if you're coming from a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yo, wait a minute, let me get this straight.
This is only it's all on you.
I only get
It's
paid
all on you.
if I
on
rent
you.
this shit.
Mhm.
Like, I wasn't even selling shit.
Mm-hmm.
I never over the table sold anything. But you know what I'm saying? Even with rentals though, like it's just like really scary. You're just like, yo, so if this don't go through, then nothing. I don't get a base pay. I don't get
No,
a
you don't,
nothing.
and you're not gonna
They're
be
like,
paying
no,
your
you
bills
don't.
and
You
stuff
had
like
that feeling though, being here in New York City.
Well,
I
in
feel
New
like
York-
it's like that's guaranteed.
Well, in
like
New York
somebody's
City,
going to get that.
there's absolutely case. You're absolutely right. That's absolutely the case, assuming that you're in a
Versus
reputable.
if you're like Lubbock, Texas, or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that,
In
so.
New York City, in New York City, if you're in a reputable, if you have a reputable broker who have plenty of listings, then there is no worries.
Exactly.
But not everybody ends up in that kind of thing. You kind of like jump into something without really knowing what you're getting into, and you
Yeah.
end up sometimes you end up with a broker who
Okay.
who can't provide there's a lot of things that can go wrong.
It depends. It depends. It depends. We were talking about that earlier on
But
the
you-
last show. On
I missed that show actually, but
on
I didn't,
Straight
I
No
didn't listen to
Chaser.
it, but-
Yeah, like yeah. But again,
But my overall point was it's a leap of faith to do anything without that 9 to 5 base pay every single time. Even if you're doing well, sometimes the money gets shaky. Like
Yeah.
you could be
It
doing well
can.
and things can
And
happen
things-
outside
yeah.
of your control.
But you know what? I think it goes back to what we were talking about before, as far as just like having some other source of income. You know what I'm saying? Having like a side hustle, just in general. Everybody should just kind of like
Right. You should have
really
you should have
kinda, like,
something
that.
on the side.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Especially if you're in that type of business where you don't know where your next fucking coin is coming from. You know what I mean? Like, I think that all of us are pretty much, in a similar boat. You know what I mean?
Right. Where you don't have that
where you
solid-
just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, most of us are. I'm not going to name any names. But most of us are in a similar boat where, if you don't have clients or if you don't have whatever, then you just don't fucking have whatever. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? So you have to just kind of like make sure that you have some other shit on the side or whatever, and just that's just
Yeah, it's a fact of yeah.
yeah.
Very
But
true.
but yeah, no. Look, I was under the impression, I didn't know that the real estate market was still as lucrative as it is right now. I really didn't
But
know.
yeah, it's still lucrative.
I really
Broker's
did not.
fee be stupid.
No,
What's
I
the
know that
broker's
I
fee
know
to
that, I
pay?
know
It
about
can
a
be
broker's
stupid.
fee,
It
and I
can
know
be.
about
It can
this
be
and that and
anything
stuff
from-
like that.
yeah.
But I really didn't know, like it was as is. You know what I'm saying? Like I really did not know that, because maybe I just knew the wrong people. And like a couple of years ago, like a friend of mine was trying to get into the business and he wasn't really that successful. And I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have probably be basing it on that one person, but
Maybe he got with the wrong firm.
yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
maybe what it
Yes,
was. Or maybe
yeah,
he just
absolutely
wasn't
can
really
happen.
doing what he had to do or whatever. But
Like sometimes, like let's say you go into a firm and that particular broker has relationships with landlords that they have an understanding with.
that's the
like
thing.
that
I didn't
can
even know
happen.
about the relationships with the landlords. Like
yeah.
that.
You have
You know what
relationship
I'm
with the
saying?
landlord,
Like, all of
and if
that
you
shit.
are in a business where this broker has a certain relationship with these landlords, and then you innocently go into this under this broker and trust this
Yeah.
broker, little do you know this landlord ain't gonna take nobody but really who this broker say take it, and this broker already got favorite.
Yeah.
He got favorites. Then you know what I'm saying. You got to get.
Yeah.
Once you get used to him, like, okay, I don't need
Well,
you. I can move
you
on to
probably
another
would be-
broker or
you
something like that.
Probably like be popping because you like probably.
I will
just
be popping at anything I have to
I
sell.
know that. I just
And I
know
don't care
for
if that's a
fact.
handful of
I
sand
know
to
for
to
a fact. Like
to a camel.
now that I have like a better understanding of like how it works, like I'm sure that you like would just be
But
popping with that
there's
shit.
there's,
though. For
there's
real,
also
for real.
in New York City. There's also from a pro black standpoint.
Yeah.
There's a lot of conflict.
yeah.
Yeah.
with real estate.
Yeah.
Because the gentrification is real. So
Well, we
gotta remember
talked about
too.
that on the last show.
Yeah,
We talked about it on the last show. But
The
look, I don't want to
conflict is
like
there's a
rehash
lot of
everything from the
people
last
who
show.
do not- there's a lot of landlords who straight up. Okay, all that stuff that you hear about. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna say that really quickly. All of that stuff that you hear about is true. But people think that it's just like a cliche. But when they say things like, yo, these landlords ain't really trying to fuck with a lot of black people, a lot of these landlords already know. There's code words like, this person is not a good look.
What,
This
people
person is not-
don't think that's a thing is what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying I don't know if people really. It's a lot that people don't think because, like, say for instance with gentrification, I think I told y'all this story before, but let's say somebody comes into the office and they say, "I've been living in Brooklyn in Flatbush for the last 8 years, and now I'm ready to move, and you know, I was paying $800 a month for my 2-bedroom, and I know prices have gone up now.
Whoa.
They've gone up, so I'm willing to pay $1,200 for 2 bedrooms. No, you're not.
More like
You're gonna get a studio,
You gotta
B.
add an X3 to
That's
that 800.
right. That's right.
Better
That's right. So
comment
they
that
will argue. They'll argue with you. They'll cry, and they'll do all kind of. They'll be like, "You're lying." If you tell them that you need, I had somebody tell me straight up that there is no such thing as an 800 credit score.
There is.
Of course there is. So I told them like the other person they happened to have a higher, and this landlord only wanted over 750 for black people, which he never said those words, but he said they gotta have a good look for the building. So what this means is that,
Okay, so I
Yeah, no. I understand exactly what you're
there's
saying.
nothing you can do.
So I
Right.
rented my first apartment when I was 19.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I found that out pretty quickly in terms of, you know, my skin color
Yeah.
and where I wanted to
Yeah.
live. And so what I did, and this might be a hot take, but I set up my own LLC and then had one of my white friends go as a representative for me for my LLC.
Wow.
To
Genius.
and
Yeah.
and I never rent. Oh, okay. That first apartment I got was the only apartment I ever rented in my name. Any other thing that I had in terms of rentals was under my corporation's name. So
okay.
they never knew. They just saw the corporate. Oh, it's
Right.
Oh, yeah. We that because
Yes.
it's the perception of it,
Yes.
right? They
Oh
saw,
my
it's a
freaking
company that wants
goodness.
to come in
Yeah.
and rent this. This is not,
Absolutely.
you know, or let's say that your name is, you know,
Where
your
were you
name
doing
sounds
this?
black, right? So it's not one of those.
Where was this? Where was this?
This is all throughout the U.S.
Oh,
Yeah.
but I'm saying in New York City.
Yeah, well, the last place I
'Cause New York
rented was
City is
in
different from everywhere else.
2012, and that was in New Jersey. So,
Okay.
No, I haven't rented anything in New York City, but I imagine it would. be
Yeah,
the
I'm just
same,
wondering
so,
how.
yeah.
Wow,
That's actually something new. I never knew that. I knew you
Brilliant
can
as
purchase
hell.
properties in the LLC, but I didn't
No,
know
you
you
can rent
can.
too. It's majority of the rentals, at least in New Jersey, when it comes to the Bergen County on the Hudson River, the majority of those are corporate rentals, especially when you get down to Edgewater, like $100,000 rentals and stuff. But those are all
Taking
corporate
notes.
rentals.
Right.
So you know that people think it's a thing, but there's a lot of things that about gentrification that people just think that when it comes in real time and they're looking at it, then they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this is real. The reason they're telling you that credit score is so that they can have an excuse
And
to.
on top of that, so companies have credit scores too.
Yeah.
But when it comes to rentals, it's a shoot or miss, and most times they don't even check to see whether or not, you know, your company's up and up in terms of
Right.
So
'Cause it's a
you-
company.
it's
Right.
kind of like a loophole almost, right? So
Yeah. Woo.
Son.
Baby.
This is why he live in the Himalayas. You got to get a Sherpa to find him. You know.
there was a point in time where my
Yes.
credit score wasn't the best at all. Like
Yeah.
it probably, I don't know, what's the lowest you can give?
Like
The
300.
threes, right? The fours or threes.
Well, I know.
Oh,
it's like
I've
3,
seen the
4
inside
something.
of
Well,
a
then
four.
mine was in the 100s then at that
Whoa.
and they never checked my personal credit score. It was always the
That
companies,
fucking
and
company.
and every time I went back to look at the companies, whether or not there was any inquiries on it, not one time.
Damn,
So,
that's
yeah.
crazy. Shit, you know.
Wow, like I'm stuck right now.
I'm trying to figure out like what the.
I'm stuck right now. Like I'm like you blew my mind. Like that's so
Yeah.
genius because that is how they keep a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is a loophole.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's also a way to avoid a lot of personal
Yeah.
taxes too. So
Yeah. yes.
But yeah, just for the record, just before we get off that topic, I just want to say that if you do, just find a reputable broker. If when you're out there and you're looking for an apartment and you're worried about, discrimination with landlords and stuff, find a reputable broker. That broker is going to come through for you. I know Ken, who I worked with, he will come through. He will do it the right way. He got good people, and he's good. He's a good guy. So find a reputable broker if you are renting in Brooklyn, and just ask questions.
He's a reputable broker.
I definitely gonna make sure we get your information to the people.
Appreciate that.
But definitely get somebody who you can trust and who you feel comfortable with, and they'll make sure that they would never steer you to somebody who's gonna discriminate against you. But are you in Brooklyn? Are you out of Brooklyn?
Yeah, I'm based in Brooklyn. My office is 1586 Rockaway Parkway in Canarsie, Brooklyn. The name of the realty group is Walters International Realty Group, Incorporated, and I'm a salesperson there.
Okay, I will link you in the comments.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
And I can give you my social media as well.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely link you so that if anybody is looking, that they can find something. And you'll help them out because
Thank you.
you look like you don't play around. I think you'll get.
I try not to.
You'll get them squared away. You look all business. So, is there anybody in the comments that has any questions for our panel tonight who want to discuss anything about their own business or their own ideas about how we can?
I gotta go on the page. I'm
Oh
on
yeah.
my own
None of us are
live.
looking at the comments.
I gotta look and
They
see.
talking. So we're gonna come.
What they saying?
He was not here, y'all, so we don't have our normal setup where somebody goes through the comments and checks them out. But let's get it popping and see what y'all hitting for. I think I gotta go to the other page,
You gotta go on the thing and
the Black
see.
Source. Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
why
coming,
I went live
y'all.
on my
I'm coming.
page.
So yeah. Oh yeah, I see some comments. It's popping.
What they saying?
Nobody's calling in though. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. Just please.
Yeah,
forgive me.
call-ins. 929-227-4646.
Reva said, oh, man. Oh, yeah. Okay, she said, the conversation ignores the systemic imperative for cheap labor. Niggas was determined to be the laborers under this system. We cannot seriously have this conversation about black financial freedom. If you don't like the way I'm doing your cadence, call in and do it yourself without focusing on labor politics and
Your
reparations.
inflection.
We are not here through any fault or pathology of our own. I'm just saying. Okay, so I just want to back her up on that really quickly. That's Reva. And basically what she's saying is like, don't even start this conversation about how we can handle this business without getting to the root of the issue, which I agree there has been a definite rig in our system. And they obviously... They obviously
Like that
That victim shit again.
well, and you might see now. That's where I think we're getting in trouble with the word victim, but we're gonna fix
what it
that.
sounds like.
But I definitely so I want to be clear about something. So she said reparations need to be a discussion at the beginning of any of these kind of conversations. I
So we gonna just stick
100%
on
agree.
that and not-
No, we're not gonna stick on that though. But I do think this though. I do think this, Robert.
Mhm,
I
I'm
do
listening.
think this.
Don't worry, I'm listening.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm listening.
I do think this.
So when you said reparations, I don't know where the camera's at, but my eyes kind of rolled a little bit, and I just want to explain that because we never getting reparations.
Okay, wait a minute.
The West
Okay,
Indies
wait
got
a
a better
minute.
chance.
Wait a minute.
Give up on that dream.
Wait a minute. I don't know that we should say never about anything because I know
Every year that
I know there was a
passed,
time.
The odds of it just dwindle even
No.
more.
I feel like
Oh,
that can be
I'm
applied
the
to any
opposite.
group except black people. When you say so,
I think I'm the opposite that it's
You
gotten
think that
dwindled.
70%
That is
of the
dwindled.
population, aka white people, are going to agree to pay 20% of people?
well, to be fair,
reparations?
it's 60%, but
You know what I mean. And to be
still the
specific, it's
same.
we only make up like 15% of
12
the
or
population,
less.
18,
Right.
some shit like that.
I'll actually
But-
share. Well, I'll
Go
wait for you
ahead.
guys
No,
to finish.
please, no.
I'll actually share something very interesting with you because I am a first generation Haitian American. My parents are from Haiti, so I was born here. My boule, Mem Lawi. So, one thing I've learned right from understanding Haiti's history and stuff, the reparations talk may sound cool, but we are the only people in the history of the planet to pay reparations to our enslavers. So we literally spent 150 years paying off debt
I remember hearing about how
just because we
Haitian-
freed ourselves.
Right.
So That's just Haiti.
Right.
America had one of the most extreme slavery regimes out of all the places in the world, and it actually had the least amount of slaves imported. So with understanding that, how are they going to go about getting reparations if the only nation to actually free itself is still paying to this day?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
literally.
But that's
Good
two
question,
different
though.
things.
I think
though.
they paid
That's
that
two
off,
different
though. I
things.
No,
think
no,
the debt
no,
is
no.
finished,
Yeah,
like,
the
2012
debt's
or
finished
some
being
shit.
paid off. But then when I said like we're still paying for it, everyone's basically in our country. We're not able to develop ourselves. There's specific.
No, I copy.
I'm trying to remember. There's specific embargoes. Embargoes are basically like a specific rule that stops
And
people
trade
from
X,
trading,
Y,
Z. Yeah,
yeah,
exporting. Why do we have an embargo?
Yeah, of course.
Because
They
you got
still-
your own
still
independence,
punish-
though.
they
It-
still
Because
trying
you
to
got your own
fought for that
independence.
shit.
That's
You-
why.
you feel me? So
You're
those-
black
Right,
and
right.
You fought for your own
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah, that's
basically
why.
going to want
So where they
to
do
punish
that
That's
at?
why.
I mean,
Right.
But with understanding that, reparations is never going to happen in America.
No, I
It's-
don't
it's
think
not.
that those two things necessarily follow, though, at all.
And to even take it a little bit deeper,
No,
like
but-
the
but-
United Nations said that the United Kingdom should pay reparations to the West Indies, and that didn't even happen. The UN said that.
Okay.
So if the UN can't convince
Listen, you have to
the
understand-
British
oh,
to do
yeah,
it,
that's my girl.
calling?
That's my
who's
girl.
gonna get
So
the
I don't
Americans to
have
do it?
That's Reva?
Yeah,
Phone?
I'm sure it is.
Hello.
Yes, my
Oh,
motherfucking girl.
That shit was stupid as
Make
fuck.
'em know, make
what
'em
the
know.
fuck
Come
do
make
you
'em
mean
know.
how the fuck are niggas gonna get reparations for the fucking work we already fucking did to build the richest fucking country the world has ever motherfucking known? Haiti ain't that. Haiti ain't that.
Here
What
we
y'all
go.
built was not what we
said
built.
that.
And so y'all gotta pay reparations to France. That ain't got shit to do with us. Y'all ain't part of our tribe.
I mean, she's saying that a
That's
little.
not-
She's saying that she's going a little nuts, but I'm listening to me though. I do think that those are two different things, though. Like those are two different topics. I don't know why she's
Not our
saying it in such an
tribe.
inflammatory way, but those are definitely two different topics. But I really
you say
wanted
that.
you, we would have discussed reparations and oh, she lost contact. I didn't drop you. You must have dropped
Hello?
us. I didn't drop you.
No, nobody hung up. on
Nobody
you.
hung up.
I
But
don't
want you to
think y'all
focus
did.
on
My
the
phone fucking
reparations.
up for real.
Focus on why you think that can work.
How do I think reparations? Here's the thing. When I say that niggas need to get the labor that we already did, that everybody is here enjoying, right, the fruits of our fucking labor, and then y'all the same way they did it for the Native Americans, and that guess what? They're less of the population than we are. The same way they did it for them. The same way they did it for the Jews. Doing it for the Jews. They paying Jews reparations for the goddamn Holocaust.
The USA is paying
Y'all need to get my face with that shit. For real.
No, but I do think that
Go home, Nigel. Like, that shit is bullshit. We can't have reparations because it's a convoluted thing in your head because Haitians reparations to France. I ain't talking about Haiti. I'm talking about the United States of America.
No, she's taking what I'm saying out of context.
Convoluting it now.
Yeah.
Explain yourself, though. No, explain yourself.
So
Go ahead, go
I'm
ahead.
saying one of the things that a lot of people don't know, America actually invaded Haiti from 1915 to 1938. They
I
assassinated
don't give a
seven.
fuck. That's not what I'm talking
Anyway,
about.
they assassinated
I don't give a
seven of
fuck.
they
Wait,
assassinated
wait,
seven of our
wait,
presidents.
Let him talk. Let him talk. Let him talk,
Of
though.
U.S. slavery.
Okay,
Wait,
cool.
wait a minute. Wait
I
a
don't
minute.
give a fuck about nothing nowhere else.
Okay,
I want
cool.
us paid building this
Reva,
nation.
Reva.
All
That's
right.
it.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Okay.
Go on.
So
We
they-
have a claim. With
All right.
Britain, we have a claim.
Awesome.
United States.
Reva, I'm gonna have to.
And honestly,
Reva, don't make
we
me
probably
do it.
got some claims
Every
from some
week.
countries in Africa that told us
Every week.
we all cut off from that shit.
Reva, wait. Let him talk, Reva. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
So all I was just trying to say is that we were invaded for about 18 years, right? So they disbanded our government. They assassinated seven of our presidents, rewrote the Constitution, changed the laws. One of the original laws in the Haitian Constitution is that if you were of European descent, you can't own land. That's the first thing that they wrote out the Constitution, right? So fast forward to today, I'm saying America, yeah, it is a completely different place, but you have to follow examples. When the Haitian Revolution happened, it inspired people like Nat Turner, which is why they were killed in the first place.
Right.
So it was actually taboo in America to speak about the Haitian Revolution because
Right.
they didn't want people
Which is why it's
having the same spirit.
Right.
You know?
Right,
so
right.
so I get where she's coming from, but then one
Actually,
thing
what you're saying just made her point. Is that why we should be talking about this, not to discourage reparation talk, but to encourage it.
But
Because
but-
the
but-
thing you're
but-
saying-
but who are we going to get the reparations for? It's like the thing is, our issue is we're constantly trying to
In a minute.
convince people who showed us how they are. 100%. It's like
Don't
you're
worry, I'm there with you.
like you're really trying to say like, oh, you deserve to give me this, and it's just like if if they did that to you in the first place, what makes you think they're gonna magically change their mind?
That's
Okay,
what they
but-
right. Should we? Of course we should, but
So,
it's not gonna happen though.
We are owed reparations. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
do I
I'm not
think
saying
it's
that.
going to happen?
I think
Yeah,
so.
if
Yeah,
that
here's
was
the
clear,
thing.
like
I
I
also
wasn't
think-
saying that we weren't
Yeah, I
owed
don't
our
think-
reparations.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
of course not. Of
I'm just
course
saying
not.
it's not
And
gonna
I also
happen.
think I also
We
think
just
that
don't think
people
it's going to
Right.
happen.
Right.
That's what
I also don't think that
Hello?
people understand like what reparations really would represent. I think that people think that reparation, and this is just in general on a whole. I
Prime
think that
example is just
people
look at Jewish
really,
people, right? So,
yes, of
like,
course,
That could be black people.
of course, but they're not just not because of because
It could,
because
but
But
racism,
America
right?
is not paying
But here's the thing.
reparations to the Jews. That's
I think
No,
that
you're right.
people
I'm just saying
people
like
don't
the
want to
reparations
understand,
from
don't really
Holocaust,
understand what
yeah.
what reparations could entail. Reparations don't necessarily mean that I'm going to give you $10,000. I'm going
Give
to
us
give
some
you
land.
10,000. Well, you know what I mean. It could come
some fucking
in many
land.
different forms.
Right.
You know
Why
what I'm saying?
wouldn't it
But
come
they're
in
just
money?
not trying to give it
I
to
want
us.
it in money.
Period.
I
Just
don't
in
care.
general,
I want
in
it in
no type
money.
of form.
You know, like this conversation, honestly, this is killing me. When niggas start talking about what we are owed, do you know we are owed trillions of fucking dollars? I get so fucking tired of other people who are here benefiting off the work of my fucking ancestors, and then y'all want to come up with y'all claim. I don't care. Go get your fucking claim. But don't say it in the middle of me talking about my shit. Do you get it? About what I'm owed and I was never paid.
Why
You
are you
wouldn't
so
fucking
inflammatory
be
in
here
your
right
phrasing?
now if my
You can
ancestors
make
wouldn't
the
have
exact
been
same points without
forced
being.
to labor here.
'Cause we
If
not
we
a
wouldn't have
very
been
tribe,
stolen
that's
and
why.
forced to fucking work here, and that has real monetary value that has actually been studied and actually been fucking added up, the debt that we are owed. The UN has studied it.
Europe was
Okay.
more-
We are owed for the actual work that we did. Like when you go to work and you fucking work Monday through Friday, your 9 to 5, and then on Friday you go pick up your check. That's our check.
Okay.
Our reparations is our motherfucking check.
Man, I swear to God, man, why you gotta be? Why you are so polarizing, even when, in my own heart. I don't understand it. But listen, I got one thing to say. I do got one thing to say. I got one thing to say.
Run me my land. Yeah.
I got one
how
thing
you
to
get
say.
your wealth.
I do want to say this. I do get kind of tired of people saying, "Well, don't you know they ain't gonna? You know why you asking the white man? You ain't gonna." Nobody's asking.
Like it
That's
wasn't
the
niggas
thing,
sitting
right.
telling her
That's
something she
right.
wasn't gonna get
We're
away.
old, you know
Like
what I'm
niggas
saying?
wasn't fucking telling Martin. You know, niggas wasn't happy with Martin Luther King either. They
Yeah,
said we wasn't gonna fucking never fucking get the Voting Rights Act passed. We wasn't never gonna get no damn Civil Rights Act. We wasn't never gonna get no fucking Immigration Act. But we did. We did
We
all
got a lot
that
of
shit.
that they said that we
And
wasn't
guess
gonna
what
do.
it took?
That
It took
part-
our
that part is true.
motherfucking blood. It took us putting our fucking babies out there in front of them motherfucking dogs and fire hoses and
Shame
let the
on
whole
us.
goddamn
But we
world
did
see
it.
them blow our fucking kids down the street.
We did it though. Shame on us, but we did it. We did. We put our babies out there. We did that.
And we fucking did it.
That's
So
true.
y'all can shut the fuck up about what we ain't gonna do. Quit telling us what we ain't gonna do when y'all done seen us do it over and over again.
So what is your
Remember
game plan?
We did some shit that y'all said we couldn't do.
What is your game plan? What
Okay,
do
wait a
you?
minute.
Wait, hold on a
So,
second.
wait, let her-
Let him
no,
ask.
no,
Let her.
no,
Let him
no,
ask.
wait a
I don't think
minute.
anybody
ask.
said we weren't
Everybody
gonna do
stop for 1
anything,
second.
so.
I'm going to let you go, Reba, and I do love you. But I have to let you go because there got to be a certain level of respect. He's never going to get a chance to speak without you cussing us out.
Right,
So we
y'all ain't
gotta
gonna never
that.
respect
But
the
with
shit that I'm
but-
talking about.
Okay,
right.
But I would like for her to answer his question though.
Okay, but stand by. But stand by. But
I
we're
would
gonna
like
mute
for
you.
her to answer his
We're gonna
question.
mute and then stand by. What's your question?
No,
for
he
her?
said, "What is her game plan?"
Because you're saying that we're just sitting here, just basically like just talking crap. So what would your game plan be? What do you think people should do, especially people relating to your tribe? Because since I'm Haitian, I can't really relate to you. I just kind of want to see what's your perspective.
I'm
on
not going to
stuff.
clown you on that because everybody talks about their own what you call it. But I'm gonna let you answer his question though.
I've been told you African Americans be doing it.
Oh, she hung up, but I don't blame her for hanging up because I kind of made her feel.
My money and I need it now.
I do hope she calls back because we do want the answer to your question. You have.
I would like to know what her
I just
game
want to
plan
know what was
was.
her game plan because she's
Right.
like, "Oh, y'all niggas don't got the keys." So
I
I was
mean,
like, "All right,
she's
what's the key?"
justifiably mad in my book. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I just don't speak the same way. But
Yeah.
I personally, I just don't believe that.
But we got to
At least in
remember
my
and
lifetime,
have faith. We
we're
have
gonna ever
to
get
remember.
We're not
reparations.
gonna get it.
I don't know.
not
I just
gonna
feel
get
like
it.
if we all say that with, I just want to be. I'm happy that my ancestors on every level didn't say that. From the uprisings that fell, from the revolts that fell, down to the civil rights movement down to today. I'm glad that somebody was like radical in the face of certain defeat. I'm glad about that, because if you don't, we just were talking about that in the other segment, that if you don't fail, you never win. Yeah. But now we want to be like, oh, if we can't win, then we're gonna just stay.
Yeah.
I mean, chilling. The way you're saying it, though, I mean, it's like throwing your hands up. I'm not saying it in a throw your hands up way. It's more like, all right, like I look like we said at one point, we was like, okay, fuck it, let's make our own Wall Street. We'll do our own shit.
We're not gonna wait around waiting for reparations. If it comes, that's what's up. But we're not gonna fucking plan our future around getting reparations. Like if it comes, that's what's up.
Okay,
that's a better way of putting it.
But you can't just say if it comes, because it ain't gonna just come.
You got to come.
Oh, we got a caller.
We got a call.
Is she?
Is that Reva?
Is this Reva?
No, it's not Reva.
Let me guess who this is.
Nigel.
What's up, Nigel?
Yes, it's Nigel.
I'm starting to learn my voices.
Nigel got the floor. You got the floor.
Like
all right, so I was actually calling in to more or less, I say more or less because, tone's going to be different, but more or less agree with Reva. When it comes to a subject like reparations, it never seems possible until all of a sudden you make the necessary breakthroughs. And it's not a frivolous thing to talk about now, because at the moment, at least to go by polling, like the left, or at least what would have been called the far left 10 or 15 years ago, looks poised to have a decent shot of taking over the government.
Yeah.
And these are pretty like pundits often go on about how Bernie Sanders is the only candidate asked about reparations, and all of a sudden Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren, insincerely, but still went out and said that they now support black reparations.
But he said he did it, though.
And I'm sure they'll back away. But this is like we're approaching a moment where this is now like a logical, feasible idea. Where like the next time Bernie Sanders is asked about it, he's going to have a decent response, because the first time he didn't look so good, even though his response was better than anything we would have gotten in the last 30 years. I mean, we can't go into the future knowing that we have a major problem with the black community, worldwide, of course, but still in America specifically, we have certain issues that need to be redressed, and then be afraid of the language that would allow us to do it.
So what kind of language is going to be needed? You owe me.
I mean, the language that we have up to now is
that corny
mockery forming into something sufficient. I mean, like
at all. It's just anti-blackness is all that is. I'm sorry, Nigel. Go ahead. I cut you off.
Oh no, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh no, I cut you off because I was arguing with Robert. I didn't hear what you said.
She was scolding Robert, not arguing with Robert.
All right, it's like, I mean, arguing with Robert is fun. Most people do it. But what I was saying is that it's important not to think that it's impossible. It's like it is completely feasible. It's now you can have some real discussions. Like reasonable people can contend about whether we should call it reparations. True. I'm coming around to the idea that we probably just should, but I could be convinced that, all right, maybe we create, let's say in the Green New Deals, a national jobs program that is way kinder to, say, people of color and people of darker hue, or people whose family has been here for, let's say, 3 generations.
They're going to have to start digging up bodies and doing DNA tests on the dead bodies.
The caste system, the Green New Deal got to include a caste system and shit.
What was that you said?
Huh?
I said they're going to have to start digging up the dead bodies of slaves and doing DNA tests on them and cross-referencing them with people who are alive right now. I mean, that would be just like the Native Americans do.
If you're going to have a universal program anyway, then it's pretty easy to say it's difficult to deconstruct the program by saying, oh, look, those niggas over there are going to get some shit while you might not. Everybody's getting something. So it's like at that point, it's just a matter of exactly what point we want to get to and how rationally we're going to distribute.
Yeah.
And that's a much easier conversation to have than the conversation we used to have about, maybe we should let babies and poor people die in a ditch. That
right.
But here's the thing, though, and here's why. I'm sorry, what's your name?
Josh.
So here's the reason why what Josh brought up with Haiti is important, because as we all know, Americans are just, baby Europeans, as we all know, right? And, literally, Europe enriched itself way more than America did off of slavery. Literally, the quality of life that they enjoy in the UK right now is built on the backs of the exploitation of the colonies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and not to forget, fucking the UK just paid off the money that they paid to the slave owners, like within the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken, like 2013 or 2014 is when they finished paying off the loan that the fucking Queen of England had to take out to pay off all the slave owners. So I'm saying all of that to say this, like America, again, I don't think it's impossible, but I don't think that America, a country who didn't even get as rich off of slavery as the Europeans did, and the Europeans ain't trying to pay reparations, so I feel like the Americans is definitely not going to try to pay it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to accumulate the debt that's going to be required to pay the, as Reva said, the trillions of dollars that's owed to us. They're not going to take that debt on. They don't even want to invest in fucking education and fucking NASA.
They do that, but that's how it is. They never want to do anything until they have to.
That would have been a great argument for the post-World War II scheme of capitalism that we were living in up until like just now. But what we're dealing with right now is the system is eating itself, and now the doors are open for people to consider what would have been considered insane ideas just a few years ago. This is the moment. If at any point we're going to talk about reparations, now is the time to start driving.
I just don't think white people
decent in 20 or 30 years.
Nigel, I don't think white people are going to let that happen. Though white people feel they subconsciously feel threatened at the idea of the minorities rising up.
Of course,
and taking economic power. Like, they're not going to let that shit happen
all the time. There's no day when white people are going to come to the table and not be white. If you're banking on them not doing that,
well, it's not going to just happen. They gotta let that vote go through.
Sometimes things happen to you that you don't. Everything, right? It's like you think that everything is in like a straight line, but that's not how things work. Things happen that causes other things to happen, that forces people's hands, and the only way you have that is by having somebody pushing towards something that they want. Once that happens, many things happen that cause things to advance.
And I get it. Like, so I didn't predict Trump was going to win. I get it.
I'm telling you, in Jim Crow, they would never imagine what the fuck is happening. Now, when you used to couldn't even look at a white woman, or else they're going to find you in a ditch with your face so rearranged that your mama opened your casket to make a statement.
Versus rerouting the whole power structure of economics is two
because you looked at it. Lipless cracker bitch, flat ass.
They've always fought it
flat
like
ass little titty cracking.
No, I agree, Nigel. I agree. But I'm just saying that, like, the magnitude of equality is not the same as the magnitude of recalibrating the hierarchy of economics. Like,
what you feel like?
So
he giving up? You feel like he giving up?
No. I just feel like, all right. So when we're talking about the difference of, all right, what are we gonna? What are we gonna give black people? All right, so we'll say that you guys are free now. Give you guys the illusion that you're free, right?
Right.
Or now you have the let's give these niggas money now,
right?
So there's a lot more power. When you have the money to do whatever you want. Like, let's segment ourselves off from white people,
right?
And I already just made mention of like Black Wall Street.
Yeah. Right.
What happened to that?
Right. I agree with you that like attempting to do this economic empowerment without first like establishing political power. Black Wall Street is waiting to happen. They're gonna Rosewood your ass.
Y'all better bust some ass with some violence, and then you need that power first.
There are practical steps we can take that will move us closer to this particular goal. Like, for instance, establishing more businesses establishing more union participation, but even better than that, establishing more businesses that are worker-owned collectives. Like, say, me and Monique were talking a while back about the Cooperation Jackson, wherein the business is more robust because in times where there's when there's less money or there's less business, at no point is a group of investors or shareholders going to vote to move all of their own jobs over to China. It's like it doesn't make sense. So all of a sudden you have businesses with much more staying power. They can exist for longer and be more equitable. And if you base like a political power off, say, that structure, as opposed to like most businesses run like an old-style monarchy. Your boss is your lord, and he tells you what to do. And if you don't like it, you can get fucked because the next guy's going to be just as bad. It's like we can, if we start moving in directions like this, then all of a sudden our options open up. Because
we got to burn down black churches
now that
too.
Economics.
Oh yeah, well that's a
don't forget about that, Nigel. We got to get rid of all the black. It's too many black churches.
So I 100% agree with Nigel, and we've actually had a conversation about it. I actually have an idea about this, but I don't think we have enough time to talk about.
We got time at the after party.
Yeah,
after the show, it's the after party.
But I 100% agree in terms of.
I want to hear the idea.
Well, so I told you about what I was trying to do in terms of my next chapter in my life, what I wanted to do. But
Right.
I wanted to like move into, or at least be able to go into these underrun, like go into like a Flint, Michigan, right?
Right.
And like collectively purchase everything within,
Right.
At like cents on a dollar.
I
And
think
then
people are ready for this.
Building those
Yeah.
communities and then expanding outwards from that until you basically take over that entire area, or maybe in even a state.
I think people are ready for
that's-
that.
So,
And I also think it's kind of weird that we keep trying to act like time stands still. Like, oh, it's going to be another. They're not going to come in and burn it down. That's not going to happen like that. Like, people are like stuck. Like, that's what made sense then.
They'll undermine it some other way, though. They won't burn it down,
yeah,
but they'll
like-
undermine it some other
Not
way.
literally, not in
They'll
that
be
way.
like,
But those are
police
things that-
officers don't patrol those
Yeah,
areas.
they are. They're going to definitely do that. They definitely are. But maybe that's the kind of thing that we can combat. Like, we just have to keep
Right.
fighting.
I
We
mean,
just have to
so
keep
like
pushing.
creating your own contingency plans for like,
Yeah.
you know, what if they don't, you know, what if they pull the police back? All right, let's create our own police force.
We
Or
should
you
be
can't
doing
do that legally,
anyway.
though.
All right, or what?
Well, we can do our own little vigilante street justice, which is what we do
Like,
anyway.
if you owned your own, like, let's say,
mean,
like,
I'm
if you
okay with
purchased
that.
all of the outstanding municipality bonds for like a community, right? And you're a single person that owns that, or a community, or a corporation that owns that,
Right.
Then at that point, you pretty much own that town, right? So then you can not bring in your own police force.
This
but
gets me
replace
so
the
hyped
police
every
force that's
time.
already
Private
established.
security or
Chill.
some
Right,
shit
so,
like that, yeah.
Chills for this. Like, I just don't want to see us give up. That's it. That's all I'm asking. I don't want to see us give up. Like, these are ideas that can work maybe like on smaller scales, and until like all of these little factions get together, because I feel like we've come a long way. Starting with the civil rights movement, which I think was, people underrate the importance of the globe of what the civil rights movement did. What it did is it started making other people who were not black look at it and be like, oh, how can I use this model to get my shit popping?
Yeah.
And these white bitches came and bust our ass with our own shit. Now they get what do you call that? What do you call that when you give somebody a job because they don't meet the quota? And
Affirmative action.
affirmative action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, as long as we keep having these kind of ideas and taking it seriously and not being like, ah, you niggers, nothing's gonna happen. We're gonna burn it down.
Nah, but what I
that-
feel like they've been saying is, I don't feel like they've been saying that. They just been saying that, like, yeah, that might be happening, but we can't live our lives and plan our future around a maybe or what if.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
we
we
need
can't-
something
you're right.
more
That's
concrete
absolutely
than
right.
that.
But
You know
But
what
that's
I'm
what
saying?
half
Right.
of them are doing. Like you heard her say, "I want my money," and it's just like,
what we do with the money, you gotta have that passion too. You
She
gotta
said
have
she
that
want her
radicalness.
reparations in the form of
Of
dollars, right? So-
Cash. She don't even want
But that's why I
land.
said,
want
like,
She
it,
wants
it,
to
it,
pay
it, it
fuck
doesn't
the
have
money.
to be
With money
necessarily
stacks.
in that form. Like, it can come in many different other ways. You know what I mean? But I just don't think that they're really trying to give us jack. But I mean, if we frame it in other ways, maybe there would be a better chance of
I
us
agree
getting.
with you on that, you know.
You know what I mean?
agree with
Getting
you.
it. You know. So.
Once we frame it as
I want
money,
to say yes
white men
and
are
Yeah,
no,
they're
because
just
again,
not
I
going to
could
be
be
able to be
convinced
frame it
either
as,
way.
you know, just
It's
any
like-
other shit. You
Did
know?
the Native Americans get money? No, they just got
No,
land.
they
right?
got fucking, and
Oh,
then they
yeah,
got
that's
land.
what
But
it
guess what? I bet
Right,
you
they put
you've
their
been to
casinos on that
any
fucking
one of
land,
us
yeah.
has been to fucking Foxwoods and one of them fucking shits at some point. Them motherfuckers is caking the
But the
fuck
thing
off.
is that even with the Native Americans, there's poverty and
There
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
poverty,
Within their
and-
own
but
communities.
but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same way
So
it
that's
affects,
still-
I
but
lived
it's
in New Mexico
capitalism.
for 2
The
years,
same
so
way
that
you're
shit
gonna,
is
you,
crazy.
it's going to
They're
affect
like the
certain a
highest
certain
alcoholics, too, if I'm
segment.
not mistaken.
It's going to
Yeah.
affect a certain segment of the native community, and then the fucking lower portion is gonna fucking get the shaft, just like how it is,
Yeah.
in fucking general. You know what I'm saying? It's just fucked up. It's fucked up.
I feel. I mean, it is. It's, I
At
just,
that point, you're looking at the human aspect of it. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
people just fucked
Yeah.
up in general.
Yeah, just
so,
in general.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from the Caribbean, so I have nothing to gain from reparations in America. I'm waiting on the British.
Actually,
I'm waiting on the British to send on something. And again, I know that's definitely not gonna happen.
I mean,
to the white man, they're
in-
like, we give you welfare, we give the
but they
islands
don't. We
aid.
pay into those systems.
No,
Wait,
I
hold on
agree.
a second.
No,
hold
I
on a
agree.
second. Hold on a second. FX said DNA companies and ancestor search companies will get flooded with tons of money by people, not just black people,
So good.
to find out whether or not
Sorry.
they are descendants of slaves for reparations. And he said, "I look tired."
Well, the
I look
government can
tired.
subsidize that too.
I don't feel like I look tired. Do I look tired?
No.
And I already looked up
Not
my
tired?
estate. I already know
Huh?
who
You're
owned
not
my
tired of my
ancestors.
shit.
I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if I look tired.
You
Like,
said
I
you
don't know.
woke up
I don't know
at
if that's a
6:30 a.m.
compliment.
I
I
woke
don't
up
think
at
it
2
is,
p.m.
but I don't feel like I look tired.
I slept all
But yeah,
day.
but what about the other thing that he said though? Did you hear what I said? What he said? You want to read it again?
Nigel hung up. He must have lost it.
You want to read what he said again? He said DNA companies and ancestor search companies will get flooded with tons of money by people, not just black people, to
Talking
find
to the
out
mic.
whether or not they are descendants of slaves for reparations.
But what's the point, though? I mean, that's just one small.
No, what he's
segment of
saying
an
is that if
industry.
if they do decide to give reparations, then there would be like a
Oh.
whole fucking.
Well, yeah, I mean that
Start
happened.
a
Just
black
wanna see
DNA
that.
company.
That's no reason
Owned
not
by a
to.
black man. Yeah, make
That
a
is
black
what
man
we
open up
we
his
can work
own
it out.
DNA lab.
Let's work it out. We're not gonna be like, you know what? Wait until we get
So
our
instead
shit
of a
together.
paper bag
Oh, he
test-
said he saw me yawning a few times. Okay, I thought I looked tight. I was like, I thought I looked.
You gotta be
But I would
tired,
like
man.
to
You're
add this
putting it
though,
in. You're putting
in
in
regards
that
to reparations.
I've been up since 6:30, so maybe you're right.
If they end up giving reparations in America, don't you feel everyone globally is owed reparations? This is why it's
work.
possibly
No, we don't
not
do
gonna happen.
globally. We
No,
talking
but I'm
about-
saying it's like it can't just happen in America and not happen everywhere else.
That
'cause
sounds like a
slavery
white
was-
man's
Yeah,
argument.
yeah,
No, no,
And we're not.
no, no, no,
He's
no,
talking
no,
about
but I'm
people
saying
of
it's like-
color.
No, it
He's
can't.
talking
Like, it's people
about
of
people of
color.
color.
So-
Diminish it.
Yeah, so it's like you see how early she's like, oh, you're not from my tribe, so fuck out of here. So it's like,
Hello?
yeah, but my
We
tribe
owe
went through shit too.
reparations more
Like,
than
it-
the
Yeah.
Nigel,
African
you still here?
Americans.
like
They
you
wanna
know,
really play that
so
game.
it's like it'll be a never-ending cycle. So
Yeah.
I feel like everybody had the very good perspectives where it's like just the fact we're having the conversation and
Yeah.
the way the climate is of this world, we have a better chance, better than we've ever have, but it's still something that's going to take a lot of work because this.
I mean, the
not just
hate.
gonna-
Your
Well,
whole
the fact that we're
Haiti
having this
angle.
I did want to step back in and
Right.
Oh, he- Nigel there.
Now.
Yeah, that's
I
a
think
sign
it's a
that
good
it's
thing,
actually
so.
getting closer. I mean,
Yeah.
Nigel back.
oh, Nigel's back.
Yeah, I did want to step in and make this one point because somebody commented that everybody would be claiming to be black for once, and then it'll be impossible. It's like, I feel like reparations is only really possible in the context of an already ongoing universal system. So it's like that's the reason why I mentioned, say, the Green New Deal specifically. I'm not married to it, but if you have a system where everybody's already getting something, and then you spend specific time to redress the imbalances of the black community, all of a sudden it does. People are less motivated to lie if they feel like they're getting nothing, and those niggas are getting something out of everybody's pockets. We know white people would do that. They did that for Native Americans. Look at Elizabeth Warren. I'm 3% Indian, so my grandfather got a land grant or some sort of nonsense. It's like if you incentivize people to fuck things up that way, then they will.
Yeah, you're entitled
I
to
think
some
it's like
shit,
1/16,
right? Some
right?
shit
Or
like
something
that,
like
right?
that, yeah.
Right.
Well, it
So
depends on what tribe,
so it's
though.
a manageable issue.
Depends on the
Yeah,
tribe.
it's,
It can't be. It's not the East New York tribe. It's like
Which-
the upper. It's like the upper East Side tribe. Like not the
Sounds
like a
Brownsville
handful of
tribe.
tribes that give out
It's
rights.
like it's right.
Oh boy, I just got called hashtag All Lives Matter. Well, I live.
Hashtag All Lives Matter. Okay, so that's
Good looks
thing
for the
to
gems,
me.
Nigel.
The whole thing about the Haiti thing, like, for me, that's such a huge part of every angle that I look at for what Black Americans should be doing. Like, that is,
I like using Haiti as an example.
Yes,
We're talking
yes.
about like
Yeah.
just black things in general.
Of course,
first of all, the fact that they are still being punished.
yeah, to
But-
this day.
But don't
By
regret,
everybody.
But
Yeah.
do not regret their revolt. That should tell us.
Mm-hmm.
That should embolden us. Like, even if things become hard, even if they try to punish us, it's better to be free
Yeah.
than to be forever somebody's. Oh, wait a minute, Reba back. Reba.
How y'all know it's me?
Oh, God.
The calls are coming from
Listen.
inside the studio.
I got one more thing to say
Personality
because
into
people
the
really be in their
wilderness.
feelings when I make the distinction about who I'm talking about. When I talk about my group, my tribe. Y'all, every time, you can't go on a motherfucking thread with black people without everybody putting up their fucking flag. It's Haiti over here. And you got Caribbean flags all over the fucking place. But when I talk about my flag, when I talk about my people, it's a fucking problem.
All the same people.
No,
Why?
but there's nobody saying
Nah,
that.
I'm not saying
make a
that.
distinction because there is a distinction.
Fucking
There literally is.
So I have a question. How was America able to expand?
Because through the labor of
But before that, even before the labor, how?
through the stolen labor of the indigenous people that were forced to come over here and work for nothing.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, how was America able to expand?
No, did I not? I just answered your question. That's what I just said.
Okay.
That's how.
So the specific answer
Through
that I was
free
looking
labor,
for,
through a huge free labor
the specific
force.
answer I was looking for was through the Louisiana Purchase, which happened in
I don't care what
1803.
you was looking for. Oh,
Because this is your history. This is not my history. This is your history. This is not.
I agree with her. That question was specific to a point that you were trying
fucking shut the fuck
to
up,
come across.
honestly.
So anyways,
You know what? That was kind of a setup.
Specifically what the fuck you're talking about. You're
But
talking
she's talking about this lately.
physical expansion.
It's getting like
You
kind of
got-
crazy.
That was a little loaded.
I'm
one,
talking
but it's
about
okay.
economics
Go on,
because
go on,
reparations
go on,
deal with
go on.
motherfucking
So-
economics.
Okay,
Miss,
wait.
chill.
We're gonna let him
Go
go.
ahead,
We're gonna let him go.
So the reason why the Louisiana Purchase even took place, right, is that when Haiti bankrupted France, right?
They needed money.
They
Bitch,
needed
I
money.
don't
So
care about
France
that.
France
Don't
owned
quit
the
talking
western
about it.
portion
Then
of the
go to
United
Haiti and get
States.
your fucking reparations. Go to Haiti and get your reparations.
I was born here. My parents are from Haiti.
Now what? He's on the list for reparations, baby.
Yeah, technically I qualified. I qualified 2 times over. That should be, honestly, in the next year or two, I'm going to get my dual citizenship. Seriously.
Aw, snizzle.
So
2 times.
you know, and it's not even that I'm trying to be combative with you. I'm just, I was just actually.
She'll be back. She
So-
be getting cut off. She don't be hanging up. She be dropping out.
So the
Somebody
main.
just threw up mad flags. Somebody just threw up mad. I'm sure that was Trini. Threw up mad Trinidadian.
So the reason why,
I gotta come on this thread, son.
the reason why I was talking about the Louisiana Purchase though is that it even occurred
I'm not even
because
looking at
France
this
got
thread.
bankrupt, so they needed the money. So basically, France sold that portion of the United States to the U.S., right? And that's how Manifest Destiny even occurred. So that's how they're able to slaughter all those indigenous people. That's how they were able to import more slaves.
Yeah,
Like
but
she's
what's
talking
the
about
point? What's the
slave
point
labor.
that you're making with this though? Because you're going over things that.
No, she's saying basically like, oh, like since you're Haitian, it doesn't apply to you. Yes, it does,
Yeah.
because the country even expanded based off of what my ancestors did, and I was born here as a result of it. The reason
Right.
we even have 50 states is that if France didn't go bankrupt, they wouldn't need to sell it in the first place. So you're
Right.
saying reparations this, reparations that.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
she's
can
saying
you
that's
even
not, she's saying
understand
that's not going to really
the
factor into
but she can understand the
into cause.
totality of it, because
Right.
she's going to keep on saying this. But what happens if America was only 13 states?
Right, but
that's a
it's
hypothetical,
not.
though.
You
No,
know
but
what I'm
I'm-
saying?
you get
But
where
I
I'm
do
coming
what
from?
you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Particularly, I understand where you're coming from as far as just like the overall point. Like, first of all, you're the motherfucking citizen, so you
Well,
under
what's with
reparations
this whole
list.
tribe shit? Like, we all
I think
recognize
we
that African Americans all descend from like 3 countries, right? We do recognize this, right? Sierra Leone, Nigeria, and Ghana. Like, what the fuck is this tribe shit about? Like, I don't even get it.
And Benin, that's it, right? Those are the top ones.
Oh
that
my
I'm
god!
aware of.
It's always African Americans that do this shit, and it's like I told you in the previous conversations, like they always try to separate us.
I don't know
I mean,
about
we've
that.
had this conversation already, and
But
you
when we
denied
had
it,
it,
but you get
I
to see it
still
in the
deny
flesh.
it.
But you get to see it
Well,
in the
I'm
flesh
saying the
all the
reverse of
fucking
it.
time.
If you were saying something to big up your country, she would not. You know what I'm saying?
But
Nobody
we're
would
not-
say.
but
no,
what-
But I'm just
big-
saying. So
Yeah,
she's
but-
saying when
two
she's doing,
separate
she's not
things.
allowed. It's not.
No, those are
I
two
get her
separate
on that.
things.
I
you
do.
know-
I'm not gonna front.
you
I
know,
don't
this is
care. I'm not
separate
gonna
things.
front.
This
How
actually
about
builds
that?
off of
Two separate
something we were
things.
saying in the last discussion, Straight Talk No Chaser. A lot of times when people aren't able to freely express themselves, the first thing they do is just curse you out, get volatile. It's like, I was never trying to attack her. I'm just
Right.
saying,
Yeah,
Yeah,
with me
like,
being
you share
born here-
yourself just like
No more
locally,
Yankee
like, you
shit,
speak
man.
the-
Yeah,
yeah,
of
the
course.
whole shit. You know what I'm saying? I like the way she is because I'm like a radical. Like I'm getting
Yeah,
hyped
yeah,
off of
yeah.
that.
Yankee
But
Doodle.
But at some
you're-
point, you need
you're-
to like kind of just chill and let somebody else
Absolutely.
say some
I
shit.
completely
Though, you know what I
agree.
mean?
And
And
your
I don't get me
points
wrong,
was
I like her
very-
too, but like
Yeah, but you're
sometimes you gotta
absolutely
just chill a little, just a taste,
The
just for like
reason
5
that
seconds.
I give her a lot of room is because I know I'm the same way. Like I get overly.
Yeah, you are.
I definitely get
Yeah,
overly.
you be wrong and strong. Yeah,
Wrong
yeah,
and
yeah.
If you say so. If you say so, but I think, to be honest, I think that it's an ad hominem that people say, oh, well, since you're going hard, you must be wrong. No, I be knowing my motherfucking shit, and I'm not afraid to say I know
but
my
that's the difference
shit.
between
And I'm not
you passionate, be
Yeah,
passionate.
like
You be
most black
passionate.
people know who Marcus Garvey is.
Be passionate.
Most black people do know
I'm
who
gonna be
Marcus
riding that
Garvey is.
forever,
I know who
Slim.
Marcus
Don't
Garvey is.
worry.
I still stand. I still stand. by that.
Wait. So
Being
what was
wrong
that whole
and
thing?
strong.
Because
There
I
you
missed
go.
that whole thing. So you said that people didn't know who Marcus Garvey
We
was?
stopped people on the street and we asked them
No,
who
I
was
saw
Marcus
those.
Garvey.
But where did that stem from?
From a
People don't know who
conversation we
Marcus
had on the
Garvey
show.
is.
Yeah.
Because they just
I wasn't here for that
assumed-
shit.
No,
Most
it wasn't-
African
it wasn't a-
Americans
no, it wasn't a-
do not
it
know
wasn't-
who Marcus Garvey is.
Right, it was in a chat, but I just disagreed. But if I'm right or wrong, so the fuck what? You know what I'm saying?
So you are wrong and strong.
Wrong and blasted fucking strong.
I mean, if I am wrong, so what? I'm just wrong.
Okay,
I
cool.
learn better.
So, but that's a damn. But on a side note, but seriously, that's a
Is that
shame.
what you're strong?
That's a shame. But here's the thing: even if you don't even know who the fuck you ever heard of his shit in passing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
They did hear of it in passing, no, but they
Oh,
just
okay.
didn't know who he was. He knew him. He was like, yo, he's a black dude.
How are you
Look at
black
Slim
on
Face.
Facebook and not know who Marcus
No,
Garvey is?
they weren't on Facebook. They weren't
A
on
bunch
Facebook.
of African Americans
They
don't know
were
who
interviewing
Marcus
people
Garvey
in
is.
not know
bodegas
who
and
he
stuff
is,
like that.
or never heard his name before.
No, they
All
didn't
of
know.
the above.
All of the above. Because the video I seen from you, the dude was like,
of
I don't
the
even know who
above.
that is in general.
We
That's some
like to
crazy shit.
romanticize African Americans. Like, yes, they know their black history. Nigga, they know Martin Luther King,
Right.
Rosa Parks, Malcolm X.
And
that's
that's
it.
106 in Park.
That's it.
I saw that
That's
today.
it.
I was like, this is why I came back to
You
Facebook.
say I like to
That's-
romanticize them.
all right, it's
I
okay.
say that you're
But the proof
anti-fucking
is in the
black.
pudding. You already did the poll.
All the time.
You did the poll, and you already verified otherwise. So let's do a round two.
We got a word for it, but I try
Right.
not to
Do
use
a
it
round
anymore.
two.
But I think you're
Do a
anti-black.
round two. Just do a round two.
I'll be glad to do a round two.
Let's do it all together. We should do one all together. Not tonight though. But
Yeah, but we
like the
should
next
definitely
night.
do one.
We should all do one and shit. We should do some videos on the street just in general.
So
That would
I have
be entertaining.
Oh, Nigel's there.
Okay, what's up? Okay, but no. Can we
I was
just
gonna
give
have
me
an
a second?
interesting question. Does anybody have an idea of how much of slaves were imported to America during the slave trade?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a good
I don't
question.
even know how many.
I think it's like 12 million.
a whole blood clot lot.
15 million.
Not even close.
Way
I
more than
I
that.
thought well, the numbers I was
even
taught
close.
was like around like 80 million or something like that. when I was-
Not even close.
How many?
It was not even a million.
I'm gonna Google that.
Okay, that's all right, because 80 million sounds
You said during the
ridiculous.
entire
Sound crazy.
um,
But wow.
slave trade.
The
Well, for
place-
hundreds of years, we were here being born into the shit.
My
No. I get where you're coming from. So it's like
he said 12 million. You said 12 million, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my son's history book
Yeah.
says 15 million.
Okay, that's
So-
close enough.
How?
No, but
so
you're
you
saying-
said that what?
Okay.
800,000 or some
So
shit
I-
like that.
So not to cut you
It's
guys
still a
off.
whole lot of niggas though, regardless.
So all right.
it's a whole
So
squad.
apparently it says 388,000, but that's
gonna say
just.
Oh my God!
But that's just for America, because you
Right.
gotta
Oh
remember
yeah, the
Yeah,
most
that's
of
what I'm
them
saying,
went
America.
to,
to the West Indies,
Right,
the
right.
people
So-
that's not your tribe, apparently.
Exactly. So
All right,
that's
right.
the thing I'm
You
trying to
just
get.
want- what's
to
the-
understand.
what's the-
America was the most extreme.
Central America, South
So
America.
why
like-
did you say I-
The
Yeah.
first one just started with Reba, like, that was weird.
Right,
You don't admit that you have
right.
your own island and culture.
Right,
Wait,
right,
what
right.
does that have to do with tribe?
Oh, that's what I
What?
thought. Oh,
like
that's what I
those
thought
are
it
two
meant.
separate things. So
Oh.
you think nationalities is the same?
No, not necessarily.
No,
but the
that's
people
all
who
that
were-
is.
The people who I thought that's what tribe
Listen,
typically meant. I
Brother,
didn't know.
look, I'm a Guyanese.
I'm really being honest.
Listen, I'm a Guyanese. My brother
What-
here
what
is a
is-
Haitian.
See,
Trini is
that's
a
you
Trini.
looking like Black
We
American
still are
tribe.
brothers and
Oh.
sisters.
You know what I'm
saying?
Shadow is from
Saint
St.
Lucia.
Lucia. We all brothers
Of
and
course.
sisters. So
Yeah.
what is this
Of
tribe
course we
shit
are.
about?
Yeah.
So what is this tribe shit
It's about people
Yeah.
communicate. People.
It's about people trying to
Recognizing-
isolate certain groups. That's what that's about.
So that's how
I
you
don't think
that's
that's
how
what
you
it's about.
understand the conditioning for the slaves here in America was so extreme to the point that we can't even have regular discussions with us verbally attacking each other because
Yeah.
the whole
He
conversation.
just reminded me of something.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
You got to say your point. It's like the whole conversation. I wasn't trying to attack her. I was just trying to, make her aware of
No,
certain
she just
information.
hype. She don't mean to.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
just hype.
No, yeah, I didn't take it personal,
Don't
but
take
I'm
it
saying
personally, yeah.
I understand that. So
She-
know,
she literally like that
Hitler
with everybody.
Looked
Yeah.
to the U.S. to the things that he did to the Jews. He looked to the U.S. of how the U.S. was
Yes.
treating Black Americans.
Oh wow!
I mean, he did the same shit to black
We
people too.
don't.
I didn't even know that. I did not know that. I did not know that. I mean, I don't doubt it, but I'm sure.
Because I'm from Germany. I was born in Germany.
Oh, wow.
So what I meant to say was just people who weren't Aryan. So or what he considered Aryan.
Yeah, yeah,
but,
yeah.
they looked to the U.S. and a lot of the extreme stuff they were doing that they weren't doing at the time was telling Germany, is like, no, like we don't, you know, this shit is crazy. Like,
right.
They were looking towards.
And the Germans are mad efficient, so they took the American shit and made it even more efficient.
Fine-tuned the shit.
A couple months ago, I was like,
German engineer.
whoa. Okay, I'm gonna get that to you. That was funny. That was, but still funny though.
Definitely right about that.
We're all going to hell, guys.
I thought that was really interesting. It was like, damn, Germany, like Hitler Germany looked over to the U.S. to see how they was treating
and he's supposed to
black
be
people.
Oh, y'all niggas is twisted
Brought
nipples.
that shit back. I was like,
Oh, son, I didn't even think about fucking taking the balls and pulling up across the face. And damn, son, y'all next level, son. Damn, yo.
Oh, y'all torture.
Oh, y'all.
I was like, yo, that sounded like some made up shit to me. Like, it was like somebody like, that was some bullshit.
Y'all depraved. Oh, shit.
Actually started looking that shit up.
Yeah, I'm about to get in that so I can write about that because that makes so many points for. But I got one thing to say. I got something to ask everybody because we're running down out of time. So I want to have the last word and I'm gonna let the panel have the last word. I want to speak and then let the panel have the last word.
Yeah.
But I want to say about the tribe thing. I think that there's a misunderstanding. I'm not trying to change your mind, but I'm coming to you. What you're giving me a lot of.
That's what I do.
Okay.
You sound like Trump.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
So listen. So I feel like the tribe thing is some kind of misunderstanding. I think what is happening, and I'm just going to be blunt about it. I think some people are using that tribe word to, and I'm not speaking for anybody here.
Cough.
Or anybody who calls in. I'm speaking in general.
Cough.
In general.
Right.
I think that some people use that tribe word in order to try to get reparations just for black Americans. I think that's where it comes from. But I think other people.
So much for Black Power.
I think that for those who that's about. But I think that other people basically just want to celebrate black culture because it is something unique. It is something unique. That's just fact. And so when we're observing other cultures, especially Caribbean cultures, which we watch and admire and like really flock to, like me.
There you go. Yeah, speak
just
to
me.
yourself.
Nobody, no other black American.
Yeah,
so my whole life being drawn to dance hall music and Caribbean people and the Caribbean people, as I learned today. And so I think for people like that, there is a joy in like reminding yourself, like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to humble my light. I can do that too. I can have a flag. I can go in a parade and be like, yo, black American. I can enjoy. I can like big up my soul food and like really let people know, like, yo, you know how you feel about that oxtail. That's how I feel about that fried fish and grits, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that oxtail was good, though.
It was, man.
Thank you.
Shit. And so was my grits. And I had both today, grits and
Yeah, you did.
But my point is, so for some people, I think it's like that, and I think what happens is that when those people are speaking, some people might misunderstand and think that they're trying to be isolating. When they're really celebrating, or really celebrating black culture, you will never hear me say anything negative about any other. I don't even have to defend myself on that shit. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, like, can I be the only one? Come on. I'm sure there's other people you might be misunderstanding.
No, I agree with you. I've
I'm
heard
sure
a lot
that
of
there
black
has to
Americans
be.
actually tell me that. And it's just one of the things.
And how many of them you heard call you a Haitian booty scratcher and tell you
When you were like 7 years old?
I'm talking about in high school.
When you were 8?
I'm talking about in high school. I'm talking about high school.
Fuck them up.
They're not doing good in life
They
anyway.
be like, you got shoes made out of plantain fucking skins, all type of fuckery.
All right, well, I'm not going to defend kids in school. I'm not doing that. But y'all got the last word. Thank you so much, everybody. You got 5 minutes, I think, for anybody who got things to say.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So I just really feel that we have to really keep in mind, once again, it goes back to the conditioning. Why were they forced and conditioned to have everything about them forgotten? Because the same thing happened to Caribbean people, but it's just with Caribbean people, for some reason, the islands we were at, our European slaveholders didn't do as extreme stuff as they did in the Americas.
What?
America was really sheltered. Yes, America was really sheltered. That's why, with it receiving less than 1 million slaves, why would people like you see how our upbringing is. You see how we go about doing stuff. And it's not that you guys don't have a culture, but why was your culture completely erased from you? Why were you not able to implement certain things of yourself?
Because they had less of a fresh
you.
flow of slaves coming
Exactly.
to keep the culture alive.
So one of the things that people need to realize, we all need to really take the time to pay attention to the history. We need to understand the Christian black codes. We need to understand all things pertaining to those times, because you have to understand that a lot of the people are actually indigenous to this land. So even though they'll say, oh, Native American this, Native American that, the whole reason they came up with the word Negro, the word Negro basically was used to group everybody from black people to Native Americans, people coming from the Caribbean, from Africa. So just the term Negro basically cuts off all of your culture. So it's not that they don't have culture, it's just America has constantly put them in a state where it's like you have nothing.
They've been westernized. They've been yankified.
You know, so then it's just like when somebody else comes over, it's not even that we're being proud. It's just like we were able to rebuild that identity of ourselves.
We just hold on to that.
Exactly. They weren't able to do that as much.
But look, I don't know about agreeing with you about African American slavery being worse than the Caribbean slavery. You ever heard about Derby's Dose?
Nah.
They used to take slaves. They took a slave who was stealing sugar or not picking enough cotton. They made another slave shit in his mouth, and then they gagged him with the shit in his mouth for like 3 or 4 days. You can Google it. This is like, you feel me?
I'm not even
stuff every day.
Yeah, it's called Derby's.
I believe
it's called
you.
Derby's Dose. Yeah, it's
that's
called
a default
Derby's
belief.
Dose.
Like that shit sounds like something like someone would do. Like if they
That's
own
exactly
a person.
what they did. So I don't think that was a thing in America. So okay. But yeah, Nigel, what up? Talk up the things. You got the last word.
All I was gonna say is that in as much as I don't have like fundamental disagreements, at least on most things when it comes to ADOS people, the thing that really throws me off about that philosophy, for all that I agree with it on most political aims, is I didn't fucking know I wasn't in the tribe. like I thought any rational reparation system would have compensation for how many generations your family's been here. It's like me, it's mostly 2 generations. Some other people might be 7, others are 11. Goes up on that scale. But it's like I come from the Pan African school of a struggle. I didn't realize we were supposed to divide in this way.
Yeah, I agree. It's fuckery.
Yeah, I completely agree that division is fuckery.
No, 100%.
Shanoa.
Yow.
Can cook.
All right. Love you guys. See you.
Yeah, man. Respect.
Thank you so much for calling in, Nigel.
Shanoa can cook. You came through today with unbelievable level of motherfucking vittles.
Thank you.
Let me tell you right now.
I'm still thinking about that.
And the fucking grits and shrimp to be on that level when I've been to old New Orleans on the Mississippi.
Thank you.
And had it and still looked at your shit like, oh my God.
Thanks.
And did I licked it? Did I not lick it with my finger? The whole thing,
the whole
clean?
plate clean.
Yes, I did. I don't got no shame. I don't got no shame. So, how can they find you?
You can find me. I'm right now. I'm just dealing with Brooklyn. You can do pickup or delivery in all of Brooklyn. And you can find me on Instagram at Shenoa CHENOA_can CAN_COOK. And you can also find me on Facebook at Shenoa Can Cook, CHENOA Can Cook. And just hit me up, just inbox me, follow me. And we pretty much have a few things on the regular menu, and then I switch it up, here and there. Going forward, we'll have a more expansive menu, but I mean, we're just starting out right now. So just hit me up. And, that's
hit her up. She's going to come through. It's so delicious, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Black Source. And remember, I still believe in revolution, the old-fashioned kind.
Absolutely.
Bust they shit. Word. Peace.